There we go. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. It is the last day of the month for those of us in sales, any kind of sales. It is it's a busy day for a lot of us. Hang on. Come on. There we go. Mute that. There we go. Switch this over to here. So who's ready for wait a second, where'd it go? Still over there? Yeah. Okay. Um. Okay. Just crazy stuff happening. Murphy's Law. So who's ready for the end of the month? Anybody need any assistance mindset wise to have a conversation last day of the month, things going on, amazing stuff going on, opportunities going on, all of that good stuff. You can throw out some requests. Happy Hustle Day. Yep. So it's a big day for a lot of people. It's a day right now where finances could be short in other places. That this could be a day to make up some big difference. And yeah, if you need any, again, you can type it in the chat. Let's see here. We got that. We got right over here. Here we go. Good morning. Good morning. Hustle Day. Steph. Good morning. Courtney, Joanne. Great to have you all here. Awesome. Anybody have any aha awarenesses or awakenings that popped into their day in the last 24 hours? Anybody still absolutely having some smiles and laughter on the release of Miss Brittany yesterday? I still giggle with joy every time I think of that. Ooh, it seems like it's good. I hadn't read the devotional yet. Taste and see that I am good. The more intimately you experience me, the more convinced you become of my goodness. Isn't that amazing? I mean, just the writing alone. The more you become aware of your capacity, the more you become aware of what's inside of you, the more you're convinced of its goodness. Right? When you read a book and you really dive into it and you start to absorb it and you realize your level of understanding of that book, you realize your level of understanding of experience that's happened in your life to get you through to that moment. You realize all of these things that are quite unique, but they've always been inside of you. I am the living one who sees you. And longs to participate in your life. Isn't that what we call hope? We hope somebody sees us. We hope somebody hears us. We hope somebody feels us. We hope somebody says yes to our business. I am training you to find me in each moment and to be a channel of my loving peace, my loving presence. I'm hoping you find yourself today. I'm hoping you find the joy that's inside of you. I'm hoping you find that thing that you're working for. How many of us would love to have, she used the word, an epiphany like Brittany has had? And again, where was all of that at? Inside. When Brianna sings this song, where is all that music at? Inside. When Shammy smiles and laughs with the kids and tells us the stories and they draw her attention away and she gets to come back with a smile, they do something that makes her laugh. All of that was inside. When Ralph takes us to the top of the mountaintop, that was inside. When Michelle tells us a story and it awakens us all, and it's like it's one of those out of left field conversations, and it's like, wow. And we all go, and we all just want to hug her to bits. All of these things, everything we're looking for is inside. What do you, when you reach up and you do that thing that Tony Robbins we were talking about yesterday? Yes. Are you reaching up, grabbing a little bit of heaven? What are you grabbing? What is there? And it'll change your body. That motion creates energy. And you are literally mentally grabbing something out of the universe and pulling it down into you. And yes, that's yours. And yeah, we got to get loud with it because it has muted our joy. Yes, we have to get loud with it because it has overpowered our smiles. Yes, we've got to get loud with it because it needs to be scared away. That high energy feeling that you're feeling, there's not much difference between that high energy feeling and calling it that or calling it scaredness. When your heart awakens, remember, the heart is the servant. The heart is the servant. Exactly. You reach up high enough, your fingers tingle. Sometimes my blessings come to you in mysterious ways. Now, who believes that? And then it continues on, sometimes through pain and trouble. Well, what's the phrases we come up with? It's always darkest before the dawn. Right? For every breakdown, there's a breakthrough. For every breakthrough, there's a breakdown. It's the pain of the old story. The old story that God's not there. It's the old story that the Holy Spirit can't be coming to me. My upline's not going to help me. The comp plan isn't going to work. We can give it all kinds of names. At such times you can know my goodness. At such times you can know my goodness only through your trust in me. At times you can only know your goodness if you decide to trust in you. And if you're made in his image, if you're made just like him, if you trust in you, aren't you trusting in him? Even the least amongst you can do this and more. Where's this idea that we can't do more? Where's this idea that we're not good enough? Where's this idea reside? That resides inside of us, but does it reside inside of us? Think about this, do the visual on this. Or is it like a jacket we're wearing that we can't see the inside of us? You've heard me when I've taken people on walking meditations, working meditations to go in and take a look at their heart. If the pain is around their heart or the pain is anywhere in the body, and I ask them to look at that area and see where is the pain, that visual of the pain, where is it? Is it inside or is it outside, covering it like a shield? And I've not seen where it's on the inside yet, because once we go on the inside, it's always covering something. What are you being covered up by right now? That's where a lot of people are going to be needed. I had a conversation with a woman out of Utah yesterday, our very first conversation, and she was born to a drug addict mother. Now she's got to be in her 40s, maybe 50s. She was born to a drug addict mother. And as she grew up, she realized that, and she realized the pain, and she made it her absolute mission in life to never touch the stuff. Has 3 boys. Oldest one is 38, 36, and 27, 28. Oldest son, drugs. Middle son, drugs. She said, I worked my entire life so hard to make sure I avoided drugs. She said, but then she goes, there's my mother, there's my kids. The only conduit between them and me, between mom and them, is me. She said, I realized I had to do something, which caused her to step into the field of quantum mechanics, quantum physics, connection, epigenetic conversation, Bruce Lipton dialogues. There's your old story. Here's your current results. The only conduit between your your desire, your story, your wants, your wishes, and your current results, whether you have them or don't have them, is you. At such times, you can know my goodness only through your trust in me. What is this story that you're giving your trust to? What is this old story? What's the old story that Brittany no longer trusts? She trusts the new one. And it makes you fragile. It does get you into tears because it's like, wait a minute, I just lost you think you have some good friends? When will you start talking about your old story? When will you start talking about these things? When will you start talking about you're going to change your old story? I'm going to get rid of my old story. I'm going to come out with my new story. I'm going to tell my new story today. I'm going to change the way I look at things, and the things I look at change. I'm going to make sure that I'm the one in charge of things. I'm going to make sure that I can do this. I'm smart enough to do this. I'm capable enough to do this. And the old story says, but you're going to leave me? You know how long I've been with you? Forever. I'm not good enough? Well, I mean, I like you. Can you just sit over there in that chair? Yeah. I can do that. Yeah. Whew. Understanding. At such times, you can know my goodness through your trust in me. Understanding will fail you. See, I didn't read that part yet. I read it now. Understand, you believing you understand will fail you. But trust will keep you close to me. I got to tell you, I have no idea how many conversations Brittany had outside of this call. We've had a couple, but I know she's had more calls, more conversations with herself, conversations with other amazing souls. Understanding will fail you, but trust will keep you close to me. Thank me for the gift of my peace, a gift of such immense proportions that you cannot fathom the depth or breadth. Its depth or breadth. I asked Brittany if she would do a little testimonial for the calls for me. And I love her answer. She said, you could ask me to swim the 7 seas and I'd do it. I had no idea the depth and the breadth of what this has meant for her. We never do. We never do. Somebody who sleeps for the first time in years taking this product. Somebody who makes a trade and makes an extra $100, the joy that they see that it actually works. The fact that they find a community of people who are like them. They may never say anything, but boy, they'll never leave the community. You never realize the depth and the breadth of your words that you make a difference in somebody's life. When I appeared to my disciples after the resurrection, it was peace that I communicated first of all. I knew that this was their deepest need, to calm the fears and clear their minds. I also speak peace to you, for if you are anxious, I know your anxious thoughts. Listen to me. Turn out other voices so that you can hear me more clearly. I designed you to dwell in peace all day, every day. Draw near me, receive my peace. I knew that their deepest need, I knew that was their deepest need, to communicate peace. Wouldn't you say that might be everybody's need right now? Communicate some peace to them. Let them feel a little special. Let them feel that the world, listen, somebody's sitting in their home going stir crazy. The world ain't going crazy. They're going crazy. No matter what's happening around the world, no matter how many people have contracted the virus, the cold, the whatever it is, how many people have gotten healthy, how many people have passed. If you're still here and you don't have it, that's a whole nother world out there. I'm not telling you to be, put your head under a rock and make believe it doesn't exist. It is existing out there. It's causing us all to do things differently, to see things differently, to feel differently. But different is what we've all been searching for. Different is what we've all wanted. We've wanted something. Man, I wish if something could just happen that would allow me to fill in the blank. Whatever you want right now, there's such a high state of energy, high state of emotion out there. You can receive anything you want right now. You want intense love, it's out there. You want intense fear, it's out there. You want intense doubt, it's out there. You want intense confidence, it's out there. There's a level of intensity that exists right now that the slightest little tweak to what you do has people flooding in your direction. For your energy, for your smile, for your joy, for your peace, for your glory, for your greatness, for your grace. It's a powerful moment. Jakaya, I see your hand up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Give me a second. I just need a drink of water. I'm trying to work out and listen right now.
Sounds like you are working out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say how you're doing.
Yeah, I am working out. So, whew, okay. Okay, so good morning. So I don't really have a question or anything, but I thought it was strange that so I started listening to Your Wish Is Your Command, and I was at home with my mom, and we just started having a conversation, and I was just telling her about you know, how she's a little more religious and I'm a little bit more spiritual. And then we were talking.
I'm a little more country, you're a little more rock and roll.
Right. And so she hands me this book, and it's called The Secret, and I don't really give it too much thought. I'm just like, okay, that's just next on the list. And then, like, as you get further, I was sitting on the couch and I was listening to Your Wish Is Your Command, and they were like, oh, well, the book The Secret. And I was like, the book The Secret? I was like, did my mom just like give me that? And so I went and I'm like almost tore up my grandma's book, like her VHS like bookcase. And I was like, well, isn't that weird, huh? And I was just like, it's just weird how, well, not weird, it's just amazing how the brain works. That was really all.
Yeah, the reticular activating system, it becomes so fine-tuned, it remembers everything. 4 million bits of information per second.
Oh, wow.
Enter into the brain. We become conscious of 40. That's I listen, I'm not good at math, but I'm guessing that's maybe 0.01%,
give or take,
of a percent. And that means that the rest of the time, this is why if you're in a very active day, it's hard to go to sleep, especially if you then jump on your phone before then, because the brain's got to organize all this stuff.
Right.
It's got to try to file it. Good. No. We'll put that like in the archives, and no, this was part of our pattern today. So we need to be able to remember that when we wake up and all of that stuff. And it's just got to file all this stuff. So when you say, oh, the secret, didn't I just have that?
Yeah.
Just give that to me.
Yeah.
The secret. You're going to need this later. You're going to need this later. And it winds up giving you access to that.
Right.
And listen, that access is available to you in the spiritual world, in the quantum world, in the world that has come and gone 1,000 times in our life. Anything you want to know the answer to, all you need to do is ask and sit and listen, and you'll be guided to find the answer somewhere, through someone, through something.
Right. And I just want to say, you know, even like coming like, you know, on these calls in the morning was like a blessing in disguise, because right before the pandemic all started, I was actually going to get a therapist, and then that kind of fell through. And then I wrote in my notes the other day, I was like, I was like, I didn't need anybody speaking to my head. I needed somebody speaking to my heart. And I thought it was funny because I have, ever since I can remember, I've always had a problem with insomnia. Like that's like I've always just been up, like just for no reason. And now I know like it's mainly in my head. Like like you said, like I didn't give myself that time to like file everything away. So yeah,
And then you started
that's my 2 cents.
as the day got, as the night got later or the morning got earlier and you still hadn't slept, you went from filing everything to I can't sleep, and the brain goes, oh, we're exhausted, why can't you sleep? To
Right.
yourself, I can't sleep. Oh my god, why aren't I
Yeah.
going to sleep? And now the brain's going, well, everybody back up, she can't go to sleep, let's find reasons for her not to go to sleep. And you come
Yeah.
thinking about cats with 7 heads and dogs that, you know.
Right. Instead of moving a mile per minute, mine was moving at least 35.
Yep. And so
Oh,
and that's
man.
where just focus, it does come down to focus and
Hmm.
making. I had somebody send me a message this morning that they dreamed for the first time in a long time, but it wasn't a good dream. Well, of course it's not going to be a good dream. It's not, because your body said you don't dream. You know how long you've told people you don't dream? You don't dream. You don't dream. Well,
I
then we're
always
going
say
to
I
give you
don't
a dream.
remember my dreams, but I always, knew the concept that we did dream.
So what was the first part you said to that sentence?
I always used to say that I'd never remember my dreams.
Mm-hmm. And did you?
No.
Look how powerful.
And huh?
Look how powerful you are. You said you didn't want to remember your dreams, and you got 100% performance on that. You got
Right.
plus.
Right. And so even now, like, I don't know, I guess I I kind of try and like work. I guess my solution to the temporary problem was I would try and, well, not try. I would be like more of a daydreamer, and like I don't know. Once I got that out, it helped a little bit. I guess you could say
It helped a little bit or helped a lot, and you just decided
it
it was.
helped a lot.
Yeah. See how we say these things, folks? See how we limit our success?
Man,
It helped a
you
little bit.
don't
It helped a little
realize
bit.
it.
It helped a lot. No, it helped a lot. Then why didn't we say it helped a lot? Well, I don't want to be braggadocious. It's your life. Who else is going to brag about it?
True, very true.
So when do you want to remember? Well, what kind of dreams do you want to have?
Ones
Yeah, there you go.
beyond. I don't know. I've never really thought of that.
Mm.
What kind of dreams would I want? You know what?
I'm $95 an hour. Your time starts now. Go.
Good ones.
Yeah, what would a good dream look like for you? What would a good dream feel like for you? Start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. If you started with the end in mind, you woke up tomorrow morning, how would you feel?
Oh man, at peace.
Okay, so what's something you've done in your past that you felt at peace, that you just experienced? Was it a sunset? Was it a kiss? Was it a hug? Was it a story you were reading? Was it just an awareness? What's something you've done that you just felt at peace?
Sitting. That you know what now? Like that's another thing too. Ever since I was a kid, I could remember just my mom and my grandma just being like, slow down, slow down. So once I did really like finally start to slow down and like physically sit, it was just like I could just control my mind, if you will. So sitting and meditation, and I've been like trying like moving meditation now too. So that's definitely helped.
So what if you were sitting in such a calm peace that you were able to meditate in such a way that you were actually able to move through time and space while sitting still, but being able to experience time and space move through you and around you?
Now that sounds like the end game, end goal.
What if, yeah, Rika saying astral projection. Absolutely. So what happens if tomorrow morning to not tomorrow night you wake up and tomorrow morning you wake up and you're in a different quantum field?
Can you explain that a little bit more?
What if you woke up and you were in this body, but you were in a state of field where everything around you was joy. Everything around you looked at you with a smile of joy and was absolutely grateful for you to exist. And everything that you saw that you existed with and existed through and existed in their eyes, right? Because what are you sitting on right now?
Can you repeat that last part?
What are you sitting on right now?
Actually, I'm sitting on the floor mat.
Floor mat. Does the floor mat know you exist?
No.
Why not? Is it not energy? Did
Yes.
it not come from nothing into something and it'll go back into nothing?
Yes.
So it is a form of energy. Have you ever thought about it existing, knowing that it's supporting you, knowing that it gets to do what it was designed to do, and when it gets rolled up and put away, it's no longer doing what it was designed to do? Can you imagine the joy the floor mat is in right now? Can the floor mat feel you and the floor at the same time?
Yes.
Can you feel you and the floor?
Because it's supporting, the floor is supporting myself and the floor and the mat.
The floor mat is in joy and the floor is in joy. Why do you choose to be out of joy?
Wow. This is why I get up every morning for these calls.
What if you were the floor supporting you? How would you feel? Would you be ready at every step when you get up from this spot? The floor is in a resting state right now, supporting you. And you get up at every spot. And every time your foot lands on the floor, is not the floor supporting you?
Yes.
Have you said thank you with every step you take?
No, but I will.
This is when we lose this is when we call reality the lost place.
Wow. This is amazing.
And our time is done. We'll see you next week.
Oh, wow. Man, I don't know. Man, you never realize. Man, Sean, you're good.
Listen, it doesn't come through me. You know how many times I talked about people being supported by a floor and a floor mat?
Yes, and I remember it, but maybe I just didn't feel it yet.
You dreamt it. You may have heard me speaking to somebody else, but you're hearing it in your own story and you're translating the words that are coming out of my mouth. They're hearing this, you're hearing that because that's what you want to hear. There goes your reticular activating system. And that's your heart going, if we could just distract her long enough to hear the message she needs to hear.
Right.
And that's what this morning was a distraction because I asked you what dream, where do you want to dream to? Multidimensional. And you said, well, I'd like this and I'd like that. Well, why can't you have it together? See, you know what you just realized you just did, right? You just had a waking dream that you will remember forever until such time.
Right.
So you remember your dreams. It's the old story. You know how hard the old story has to fight? The old story in your brain goes, oh my God, the dreams are coming. Everybody out. We've got to go make sure she forgets this stuff. We got to wake her up. And as soon as she wakes up, we're going to put her phone in her hand. When she wakes up, we're going to make her realize, we got to remember, where's all of the shit in her life? Where's all of the pain in her life? You get lined up over there. You get lined up over there. And on the morning, as soon as we have consciousness, we go out of unconscious to conscious state. You all run. Everybody run. Doesn't matter what you're running towards. Just run. Just create movement. Create a lot of noise. And they're running around in your head like squirrels.
Yes. And I kind of relate that to your wish is your command. The part where he says when you develop new neural pathways, you have to feed them because the old, bigger ones are craving your attention. Man, it's like you just got a new chihuahua and you're trying to give it all your love, but you have like this like ferocious Great Dane, like just trying to grab your attention.
And it doesn't even have to do anything other than just step in the way of the chihuahua.
Right. It doesn't even have to bark.
It just, and you love it because it's the old story. It rubs up against you. You physically feel it. You physically feel it. It lays on you. It looks at you. And every now and then it gives you that slobber and you're like, stop. Don't kiss me in the mouth. Blah.
And you know what? And it's funny is because I've actually never had a dog.
But you've
Oh,
got many pets called your old stories.
yes.
What'd you learn or like?
That I've finally started this year. I've really started feeding into my news story. I'm just so proud of myself. Like I just have
Don't
to
let
give
that get
myself a
out.
little pat.
Don't let that
Right.
get out.
Because I'm like, I'm just so what? And I don't always have to be asleep to dream and remember my dreams.
No, because you're making the nightmares while you're awake that you dream of when you go to sleep.
Right.
Until when?
Until I decide no more.
Till now.
Until now.
In this moment, you have a choice. What are the two choices you have?
Joy or misery?
Which do you choose?
Definitely joy.
There you go. Once you make the decision, that's half the battle. Now the other half of the battle is staying in there and realizing how you seep out. A very dear friend of mine, one of the icons, one of the architects of network marketing, one of the fundamental builders of network marketing, 53 years in the business. He tells a story about his first car that he bought, or for the car that he traded in to go get his Cadillac back in the and maybe it was a 60s, I think it was a 70s. But when he would park the current car he had, he carried a stone in the back seat, and he would have to put the stone either in front of the tire or behind the tire because there was no parking brake on it. It would just stop in neutral whenever you turn the car off. It was always in neutral park. What happened if he didn't put the stone down?
They would just keep rolling.
How many times do we stop? We stop our life, but we never put the stone down. And the stone down is what we believe. We never put the stone down. The life just goes and away the car goes. And we wake up in the morning and we go, where the hell's the car? And we spend all day trying to find the car. And just before we go to bed, we finally find the car and we find our peace. We read a book. We journal in our notebook and we go, see, here's the car. This is what I've been looking for. And we go to sleep and we never put the damn stone down again. We wake up again and it's this freaking cycle again. And we wake up again and again and again. Where the hell is the car?
Keeps leaving.
That's supposed to get us the hell out of here. And we can never get in the vehicle because it's never here because we let it go.
Wow. Man, so would that also be like when you take a step forward, sometimes you just need to put the stone, like let's say if you're like going uphill, would you need to put the stone behind the car to, in a sense, like hold your progression?
You don't lose your forward momentum. That's what's called repetition, 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 repetition. 70,000 thoughts a day. It's a freaking math problem. You need the 6 areas of influence to work with you. We work on this personal, I got to get better. I got to get better. I got to get better. And we work on us getting better, but we never do anything for our environment. We never do anything for our social structure. Our social structure of mobility, of personality, our potential, and our social structure of ability. Our personal ability, our personal structure. If you set up that, if I know I'm going to go get coffee, can you imagine if Mason moved the coffee cups every morning, how crazy I'd get?
Yes.
I don't need to drink coffee. I like it. I like something warm.
But it's just the act of him giving it to you.
And I would just constantly be at a state of loss of where's the cup? Where's the thing I need to put?
You okay? Did you want to say good morning?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
That's my grandma.
Hi, Graham. How are you? Thank you for all you've done in the world. Thank you for all of the joy you've brought. Thank you for the discipline you brought. We're in a time and place in this world where we're going to need your discipline back, Grandma.
Okay, I know that. And thank you for being there for my baby.
You bet. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you, Grandma. I love this. I love this. Where in the world can you go to do this? This is so awesome. So how you feeling, Takaya?
I am floating on clouds. I have been. Just this entire year, I just made the decision to take care of me
And
in
that's not a
addition
popular,
to.
it's not always a popular decision, is it?
No, it isn't. Not at all.
Because decision, right? I don't know if you've thought about it. Incision means to cut in. We go to the hospital, they do an incision. We're going to do an incision just above, vertebrae 3,
Mhm.
14 and 15, whatever, 14 and 15. What are you, an alien? Above 7 and 8 or whatever. But a decision is to cut off.
Oh,
Decision means to cut off, leave no other options. When you decide, too many people say they decide, and it's kind of a whimsical,
mhm.
maybe, whatever. But when you decide, there is no option.
Right.
You come to a turn in the road, you come to a fork in the road, you decide which fork you go down. You take away the other option once you start down that path. So you've decided to cut off all the old opportunities and you've gone forward with one. Now you will determine whether that was a good decision or a bad decision. Right? When you prune a tree, you cut it off and there ain't no putting the limb back on. That was either a good decision or a bad decision. You go, okay, I won't do that to that tree because that one got hurt. Or that was a perfect one. Now I can go make the decision. I can cut off this limb without any fear of doubt.
Right. Man.
Thank you.
Huh. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everyone, and good morning.
Rakaya, good morning. Reka, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Sean. How are you?
Outstanding.
Good, good. How's everybody else on the call? I hope everyone's well. I raised my hand. I was going to say something. I don't know whether to say it or not. So in regards to what Zakaya said, I just wanted to touch on a few things. I completely resonated with a lot of stuff that she said about her dreams and her sleep, obviously saying that she doesn't want to remember her dreams, or she doesn't remember her dreams is obviously actioning that. And in turn, obviously she's not remembering her dreams. And I feel similar because I've never been able to remember my dreams supposedly, or what I've been telling myself with that story. And I know that now I need to change that story and obviously re-empower myself and want to remember my dreams more. And so, yeah, I think that's all really, to be honest. But I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone's having a great morning.
Thank you.
And thank you, Sean, for everything that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for bringing the birds with you.
You can hear them.
Have an amazing day. Thank you for the artistry that you bring to the world. Thank you for the dreams that you allow people to see standing right in front of you, and for creating the memories that that excite them at a cellular level. Grateful for you.
Thank you.
We've got Gina. Good morning, Gina.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay, so yesterday after we had got off the call, I think I kind of had a paradigm shifting moment.
Awesome.
And I realized like the fear that I have and the self-doubt and the feeling like I'm not worthy enough all stem from like a negative self-image that I have of myself. So like when I realized that, I had like the first thing that popped in my head was like, those old spider webs that you used to like make an essay, and like in the middle I saw like self-image, and then I seen all of the like factors coming off of it and all the things that I deal with just because of the fact that I have a negative self-image of myself. And I was like, wow, it all makes sense now.
So until you decide the self-image that you have of yourself, right? When we talk about, well, I don't want to do that, I'll be very selfish, or I'll be very this, or I'll be very that, or I'll be very this. Why is it okay that you're very selfish, you're very focused on you? It's all about you when it becomes a negative self-image versus a positive self-image.
I don't know.
Because if the first time you have a positive self-image of you, this beauty, this gorgeous girl who's growing up, who's having this awakening and thinks she's the good stuff, right? They go, who are you? What makes you, who do you think you are that you're so popular? What, really, you like yourself? Boy, you are just all into you, aren't you? Well, by God, I'm all into me, man. I love me. If I can't love me, how the hell can anybody else love me? It will come to confuse you. The enemy will come to confuse you. Fear and doubt will come to confuse you. It'll get dressed up all sexy and nice. It'll look enticing. It'll look non-intimidating. It'll cause you to do things, right? To binge eat, to binge get ticked off, to binge mope and cry and be all flustered, and to find things, the littlest things, to distract you from your own joy. I got a car payment that's late. I got somebody didn't call me back. They didn't like my post. How come I posted something about business and nobody likes my post? Well, no, because you stopped posting all your skin. And so I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in generality. So we go, well, I need to get more likes. We have never been more connected and more alone in the same breath than we are in this moment right now. So do me a favor, Gina, say, I love me.
I love me.
Yeah, look at that smile. You can't even stop it. I love me.
I love me. And I love you too.
But you see what happens to your hands? Where do your hands go when you did it? Did you see what just happened to your hand? No. They went like this. They went, I love me. Made yourself smaller. Pick your arms up and put your arms out like this and go, I love me.
I love me.
Yeah, did you hear the voice change? That wasn't that little soft little girl, right? This is what happens every time we start to do this. You can pick up on this stuff like this. You go, wait a minute, did you hear a voice go, I love me? Put your arms up, I love me. Well, who was that? Who was that? What was that? Who said that? Yeah, isn't it crazy? It's like, wait a minute, he's noticing everything. I can't not notice everything.
And then I kind of had another moment too.
Yes, please go.
Where I realized for a majority of my life, I felt like I had to pour into everybody else and make sure that everybody else is good and make sure everybody else is straight and everybody else is happy. And then I got to a point where I realized I was so busy pouring into everybody else that I had nobody to pour into me. See, now I'm about to start crying, but I'm like so grateful for you guys, because now I realize like I can allow other people to pour into me and make me feel loved and make me feel like I'm whole. Oh, here come the tears. And I started crying yesterday too, but I'm just so grateful for y'all. And I'm so grateful I met you guys, and I love you guys.
So don't forget to say, so I know you're saying thank you to us, but at some point you still had to click the button. As simple as that was, to click the button to hear your story come to life inside of you, and to allow all of us to pour into you, you still had to click the button. Don't ever forget that. So when you say thank you to us, also say thank you to you.
Thank you, Self.
There you go. But did you hear that voice? Thank you, Self.
Okay, thank you, Self.
There you go. There you go. I love this. RBP, what are you hearing?
I'm just sitting here listening. I'm doing a lot of, I don't know, today I'm listening to you guys and kind of taking it in. I was prompted to go back through some of our old notes, and I've been hearing y'all and writing down these these old notes. And I love, there was a statement that, and you just did it. There was a statement you made back in January about, can you allow people to borrow your courage to see courage inside themselves? And can you allow people to borrow your joy so they can see joy inside themselves? Not take your courage, not take your joy, not take your confidence, but borrow it just long enough to see it inside themselves. And it's funny because yesterday when I was walking around just doing housework and my daughter had me going 90 miles an hour yesterday, I was praying the whole time I'm doing it. I have to do that or I'll totally lose it. And I kept hearing, go back to your old notes. And so I was hustling and changing and cleaning and all this kind of stuff. And I found my other notebooks that I just set to the side. And those were the questions that came up. And I was sitting here kind of going, why am I being prompted with this? And then you started talking with Dakaya and now Gina, and God kept going, look, I'll just show you how to do it right quick. And you walked them through it, but you let them, Sean, you let them borrow your strength and your joy and your courage. They didn't take it from you. And Dakaya got to elevate her thoughts, and her vibration changed from when she spoke to when she said thank you at the end. And then Gina's voice like totally morphs into a different character. And I'm sitting over here going, the amount of authority and power we have to empower others and never lose our empowerment is so huge that why are we scared to empower others, and we go at people instead of bringing something to people? And I don't mean bringing a network marketing product. I mean, why don't I have a conversation with someone, and in my hands, instead of a comp plan, a product, opportunity, I bring, well, here's faith, here's courage, here's love, here's joy, and you can borrow it while we're talking, and pair it with the other thing you said, which was have a common enemy, the old story, and use that to combat the old story, or not actually combat it, but to put it in its place and be able to walk away with getting your courage, your joy, your strength, everything back, and looking at the person you just got through talking with going, see, now they're stepping in their own. And then your conversation before you go is, how do you feel? What'd you learn? What'd you like? And can we go do that for someone else? And I'm over here going, who wouldn't be your friend for life after that? And it's what you said about Brittany. Brittany said she'd swim across the ocean, climb the highest mountain, whatever she had to do to help you. So I don't know if everyone's getting how gold this is. And if you've taken any old notes, I'm sitting here with 3 notepads in front of me right now. And I kept going, God, why are you having me go through all these notepads? I'm supposed to be listening to the call. And he's like, just hold up, just hang on. I got it. Just hang on. And now I'm sitting here watching it happen. So my note taking is very different, and my contemplation is very different, and my listening is from a total different perspective, which you can hear that, Sean, because you've walked right beside me so closely for a year now. And so I'm going, I see Gina and I see Dakaya, and I'm over here going, why are they even struggling? They're these amazing souls who show up every day to get better. Why do they even think they're struggling? But then I think back to where I was, and I'm like, it's that old story, and it just bites you in the butt all the time. And Sean and I were talking the other day, even reading something like the Bible, if you read it through the voice of your old story, it's just going to keep you where you're at. It's not until you lock arms with someone that can help you see past the old story into the new. So then you take it to network marketing. Why are we not locking arms with people to help them get out of their old story to where they can even see that they could do something different, instead of coming at them going, no, you need my opportunity, you need my product, you need my community, you need my comp plan, you need this, you need this, you need this. Why are we not just coming up beside them and going, you know what, let's kick the old story square in its teeth and let you step into your greatness? So then I took that even a step further. I'm sitting here talking, y'all are doing all this in my head. I hope y'all know that. And I love it. And I thank you for it. So then I even took it to the point where I walk my spiritual walk, and I wrote down, God allows me to borrow his greatness to see the greatness he put in me. And his courage is borrowed by me to step into the knowing of his promises. can I allow others to borrow my courage so they can do the same? And I'm like, what a beautiful example of the love of God. And dadgummit, if Sean Murphy's not doing that already. And that's why we're all flocking to him, because at the very deepest part of us is a spiritual being who's so thirsty for spiritual water that we're all flocking to this call. But then I want to also say, everybody that shows up on this call, thank you, Courtney, everybody that shows up on this call, whether it's every day or as many times as you can, that's what you're learning and that's what you're already doing. And so as people begin to look at you, or family begins to look at you, I want to challenge you, instead of seeing people looking at you like you're weird in a bad way, or not wanting to speak to you anymore because you're weird in a bad way, look at it as, oh no, they're just acknowledging my change. And they're seeing the difference inside of me, and they just don't know what to do with it yet. And use it as a marker for your progression out of your old story into your new and into your greatness. So there you go. Were you expecting that?
No, listen, I gave up expecting. My expectation, nobody can hurt me because I have no expectation. If it's hurt that shows up, it's like, okay, sorry, I wonder where they're getting that from. So if it's joy, I'm like, man, I wonder where they're getting that from. So it's just, I love these explanations. Brittany, where are you at, my love?
Hi, I'm here. I'm half alive. I went to sleep really late. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, but you typed in, oh my God, into all caps.
Oh yeah, because you told them what I texted you. I told you that in confidence. No, I didn't. I don't care. I didn't hear the story though.
The question was, is that where did that joy come from? Are you a big swimmer?
I do know how to. Yes, I am actually. Yes.
So you would go do something, but you said, but you would do that because it's not for me. It's for you, because you have the courage, you have the strength. You would do something that you would never think about doing. This is what happens when we give people a chance to experience their freedom.
Yeah, reciprocity for sure. In all ways throughout.
There's nothing that you could do that's enough. Listen, there's nothing I could do that would be enough to see you break free, to have you have that awakening here with me, to be a part of it.
And so it's so funny because I was actually on a morning devotional call a couple minutes ago, which is why I had to step off. And I prayed and I said, thank you for Sean. And I said, although it's not that much book smarts, it comes off as so much wisdom. And we're able to interpret it. And because it's knowledge and wisdom through love, because you don't have to know everything that there is to know. You don't have to have the highest intellect to interpret love. Love is such a basic foundation for everything else. And without it, everything is in disarray. And with it, everything is together and cohesive. I realized that.
Yeah, because when you speak the primordial language, when you speak that language of just everyone, it's what a smile, it's how a smile can connect in 160 languages.
And it's not even everyone, it's everything, because love is an energetic thing, entity. And my cats feel it, our pets feel it, our plants feel it. We have plants, your plants feel it.
Your mouth
everything
feels it.
Yeah. Even, this is so crazy, but I've noticed that if I'm in a really, really good mood, my makeup comes out extremely flawless. But if I'm in a funk, it looks bad. So it just, that it radiates through everything that you do. You don't even have to think about it because you just, I talked to my grandma yesterday too. I be forgetting stuff that be happening. So I talked to my grandma about you yesterday too. So I told her that I'm gonna give y'all, you and Rhonda, her number because y'all would literally just have the greatest party together. Like all of you guys can talk for hours on end
Let's do
and
it.
listen to each other. And I was like, Grandma, I was talking about you on this call. And she was like, what? She was like, what'd you say? So I told her how you guys would actually be great friends. And I told her how I exalted her because she is the prototype of walking love in everything that she does. And I don't think I've ever expressed that to her before because I have, but not in this type of way. And she was just so happy. And she was like, that's really good. And I told her what I'd told to her about the finances, and she agreed. And she was just like, she's happy that she can be herself while being an example for other people. And it absolutely shows throughout our family as well. So I am excited to embody my own love and exude that to other people and just live and lead my life and allow that energy to flow into other people so that they can just do the same, because that's essentially what we're doing here. Yeah, we are, our love that we have to give into the world is blocked by ourselves and our thoughts. And we come on these calls every single day, the people that are here every single day, and they work on chipping away at that blockage. And once they finally get to it, it's like, okay, hey, you know what? I'm here. Let me step out of the way to make room for other people. I was just thinking about, y'all, I'll be chatty. So like, let me know if I'm talking too much.
Be the second one to know.
But I was just listening to, I'm not sure her name, is it Dakaya?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was listening to Dakaya and then listening to Gina, and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, just not too long ago, that was me. And I'm so glad that my process was so swift. So now that I can move one step ahead, and it gives the opportunity for other people to say, hey, this is how I feel, this is what I'm dealing with. And I realized yesterday that this is free therapy. It really is free therapy, and it's therapy in a way that you never would have imagined therapy to look. And that's what we need. We need we need conventional things. That's what this whole quarantine has taught me. I have thrown away and given up so much stuff that didn't serve me, that aren't, quote unquote, the word that they're using now is essential. So we're carrying around so many non-essential things, and we give them the value that they are essential. So when we actually really need the basic things, it's too much stuff in our purse and we can't find it. So if we, and what I've noticed, because I write a lot with my actual hands in pencil and paper. And as I was writing yesterday, I had a realization, and I was just like, I am reverting back to my old ways, to the old way, and it feels good to my spirit. And as my friend and I were sitting in a Chick-fil-A drive-through line for about 45 minutes yesterday trying to get food, I asked her, I said, hey, like, what would people do if we actually had to be inside the house? Would they be able to stomach it? And she was like, what people are saying that they miss the most is going out to eat and having fun. I was like, wait, but we can have fun. She was like, yeah, we can have fun. It's just everything that we were involved in was a distraction from the actual fun that we can have by existing and being with other people. Now we can actually connect with other people and say, hey, we're all not really strangers. I wish that the internet was shut down. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to get on Zoom, but that's okay. But if there were no social media right now, I'm very curious to see and know how people would find a way to connect with other people, because social media is such a passive way to communicate and connect with other people that people solely depend on it. I was talking to somebody yesterday and she was like, I'm always on Instagram. I need to get off Instagram. So I was like, okay, so just get off Instagram. Like it's that easy. It's literally just that easy. Just get off. And she was like, but I'm talking to people on there. And I was like, about what? Like, I'm like, y'all ain't talking about nothing. And she was like, yeah, you're right. And she was like, and I have their phone numbers. So I'm like, okay, you can communicate. You can still communicate with them. Instagram isn't it. You're it. Like, you are the person that needs to communicate, utilize yourself and other resources to communicate and get your message across. Does that make sense?
I'm glad you didn't have anything to say. Yes, it makes perfect sense. Why? Because it's coming from an awakened soul who's just starting to stretch her wings. So thank you for all of that.
Thank you.
It's important, and it's important that you have a place to share your awakening and share your conversation. So that's why I say, listen, when the last thing an addict needs is to be reminded of their old ways. So when you get put on the spot, well, I don't have much to say, and you started off like this, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, yeah, you ain't connecting. You got her number, but you ain't connecting. So you can get, and it's like, okay, so I really don't have that much to say. I just got off a prayer devotion. I told her, I said, we're sitting in line at Chick-fil-A for 45 minutes. You ain't connected. You ain't connected. I'm like, who took over the mic? I like this one because it's out of love. You're being able to love people through the awakening. So this is what it's all about. You're witnessing something right now that's happening where she says, I look at Gigi and I look at Dakaya. That was me not long ago. That was you like 3 days ago.
Literally. Literally.
Last week, Thursday is when it started. This happens instantly, and we're at such a high, this is why I'm saying we're at such a high state of emotion, global emotion, that if you tap into that, there is this flow that is happening right now around the world at hyper speed. If you just tap into it, I don't know if anybody saw Nemo. Was it Nemo? Nemo, the fish, right? When they went in, when they were trying to go to Australia, they needed to get into the EAA, East Australia, the EAC, the East Australian Current, and they just got in and they flowed and they took off. That's what's happening right now. You can get into this flow that's happening right now that is so much closer to you than it was before. Before, you used to have to get quiet and search for it. Now it's smacking you in the face. And people are trying to resist it. That's where this tension is coming from, because what you persist resists. When you put your hand up and you try to stop the flow, it's going all the way around. It's like an airplane wing. It just circles right around and takes off, and it winds up moving you, pulling you into the resistance.
I actually have a question.
Go ahead, please.
Sorry, I'm waking up still. So
the rest of your life.
Right. So I haven't really been I don't want to say I haven't been paying attention. I've noticed things. I haven't really been giving it a lot of my focus about how my life has changed since I got on here and boohoo cried in front of thousands and thousands of people. But what I did realize, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right, I got on Instagram Live yesterday, and there were people popping up on there who I haven't spoke to in forever, right? And then people started texting me that I haven't talked to in a long time. And I was like, okay, so this is the time where you have to, wow, this goes back to my horoscope that I read on here. That's crazy. This goes back to the time where I have to sit with myself and don't respond right away and utilize my discernment to make sure that people aren't coming back to trigger my old story, or if people are not coming back, but coming into my world with feeling my energy. Because when things like this happens, it's kind of just like when you're in a bad relationship and you move on, the ex always feels, oh my God, they're happy now, I need to come in and act like I want to get back with them, you know? And really it's their bad intentions. So I'm trying to discern whether people are drawn to my where I am going or where I used to be. And I want to make sure that I interact. I don't even, I think I got it covered, but I just want to make sure that I am looking at the right things. Although I do feel as if my intuition is pretty spot on, and if it doesn't, if the conversation doesn't go anywhere, I just drop it. But that's also a bad habit of mine, is just dropping people if they're not serving me immediately. So how can I properly assess those kinds of situations? Is it just strictly based on how I feel in the moment, or if I feel as if their intentions are pure, or should I don't know, just I don't want to fake give you the answer, just give me the answer.
So have you thanked them for showing back up?
No.
So, and here's why, because them showing back up just gave you the opportunity to, in the last minute, to dive deeper into your own awareness.
So what do I say? Just thank you for coming back into my world.
I love I love to see your name on my phone.
You know what's, oh my
Go ahead.
God.
Go.
No, I be forgetting stuff. So my friend called me last night, who I've been knowing since high school, and I answered the phone and I said, I love when you call me. That was the first thing I said. I forgot about that.
So can I speak into you a little bit, Brittany?
No, just kidding.
I love you. I can't wait to see you in person. So it's funny that you're saying this, because I've had a lot of the same thing, a lot of it. And I'm like, why is this person back in my life? Why are they back on my radar? And as I've sat with that, this is the result of redeemed strength. And what I mean by that is the strength. You and I have been told we have strong personalities, and we do. Mm-hmm. We have an inner strength that is just, it is. It's what it is. And what I've noticed is people coming back as I sit with it, it's because they were always drawn to my strength. But instead of me standing in my own strength, when I was around them, the reason they affected me is I would let whatever junk they were dealing with jump off of them and stick to me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And really why they were around me is they needed the strength that was in me, but I didn't even know the strength that I had. They saw it before I did. But instead of me stepping into my strength, I stepped into their funk. And so now, as you step into your strength, as you step into your strength, all these people are going to come back around you because they see you becoming strong again, and they need to borrow your strength to get to where they need to be.
Understood. I understood. I would love to carry people, obviously, although I would not like for people to hang onto my ankles as I trudge through the mud.
Well, and so, it's like what Sean has said. If you're responsible for their success, you're responsible for their failures.
Right. So I came
So,
across this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I came across this Instagram post that I posted back in 2017. And for some reason, it's still on my page. And for some reason, I went to it and I read it. And I'm gonna read it to you guys. It's a little lengthy. Bear with me. So it says, and I think this is relatable, which is why I'm bringing it up. So if it's not, let me know. The post says, I've tried to be a caring friend to those who don't want to let go of the lack of love in their past, and they always sabotage the friendship. You can't love people who aren't ready, good or bad. When something is foreign, it's viewed as a threat. They will cling to deceptive people who will continue the pattern because the energy is familiar and relive the loop and trauma until they forgive. Whenever someone who is holding on to unforgiveness and bitterness has the chance to be loved, all the unhealed trauma will come up and block it. If you keep trying to give love to those who reject you because of their own wounds, you're in a looping pattern of being unloved yourself. And I was like, wow, okay,
Okay,
this
so
makes so much.
hang on. Reread that. And every time you said they, them, those, anytime you describe somebody other it, read it and just put I in it.
Yo, like Sean, that's what I'm saying. I read it and I was like, I was that person.
Okay,
I
good.
was that person. I was like, whoa, I blocked so much love out of my life because I was holding on to unforgiveness and bitterness and didn't even realize it. Whoa, all this stuff that I deflected. But if the love is true and unconditional, it'll be back. It's still there. It never went away. It just held off until it could run through the gate again. So it'll definitely circle back. But would you like me to read it again?
No,
Still.
I'm glad that you had the awakening, because as I'm
Oh,
reading,
immediately.
I kept hearing they, and I'm like, no, I, and then this and they, and yeah. So congratulations on your awakening.
Mhm.
Can you read it one more time, Brittany, if that's okay?
Yes, by request. Let's go. So it says, would you like me to read it in a way where you can write it down? It's on my Instagram page. Here, let me drop the link in the
Yeah,
chat.
I was gonna say do that, and then I'll write it down after the call.
But I'll also say it again because it feels good to speak it out loud. I've tried to be a caring friend to those who don't want to let go of the lack of love in their past, and they always sabotage the friendship. You cannot love people who aren't ready, good or bad. When something is foreign, it's viewed as a threat. They will cling to deceptive people who will continue the pattern because the energy is familiar and relive the loop and trauma until they forgive. Whenever someone is holding on to unforgiveness and bitterness has the chance to be loved, all the unhealed trauma will come up and block it. If you keep trying to give love to those who reject you because of their own wounds, you're in a looping pattern of being unloved yourself. And what I realized about myself, that I was both of those people. I was the person that was blocking love, and I was also the person just not even too long ago trying to give love to people who also rejected me, because what I realized more than once is that I just did not love myself. And it's crazy because that lesson kept coming to me. And I would say, okay, I don't love myself, but I didn't know how to love, actually fall in love with myself in every essence of my being. And that was the journey that I was on. And this time feels different because to me, a large part of love is acceptance. And if I want to love people, I have to accept them for who they are in their essence. And in order for me to be loved, I have to be who I am in my essence to receive that love and to give that love. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's exactly what Sean and I discussed yesterday on a one-on-one call, just the two of us. And I said, you know, when we're instructed to love your neighbor as you love yourself,
Mm-hmm.
if you can't love yourself, then you can't love your neighbor. And that's what that's the whole epiphany you're having with
Yep.
this comment, is you realize I didn't even love me.
Mhm.
So here I am telling everybody they're rejecting me when I'm actually still rejected myself.
Mhm.
And the question popped in my head as you were reading this, is giving love when you're rejecting yourself even really love?
No, it's not.
It's
And
not.
that is why a lot of people soon find out, because so I have been a student of love. Let me tell y'all, this is a whole different topic, but I used to be that person that just hated love. I don't like love. I don't know. Love, ew, bleh. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But the entire time I was searching to understand and comprehend its quote unquote complexities, that I have done so much research about love. And it's crazy because all that quote unquote research is literally just my life experiences. And I'm so grateful for it because I have actually found the answer, or on my way to the answer. And as you were saying that about the neighbor, when you do not love yourself and you are blocking love, you tend to try to love people how you want to be loved. And sometimes it's rejected because that's not how they need to be loved. But you don't know that because you don't know love in itself, in its essence, in its purity. So love is transformative. It is, what's the word that I'm looking for? Malleable. It can take on any type of shape. So it doesn't have to always, and this is how I feel about relationships and marriage. It doesn't go down a checklist and say, this, oh, check, I'm loved. Okay, check, 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 I'm loved. It is everything. It looks like everything. It feels like everything. It can do anything with anything or anybody.
Yeah,
And
love
then,
has it.
oh,
That's beautiful, Brittany. I love the thought that you just had, that there's no checklist,
Yeah, no.
because everybody's definition, everybody's need is different.
Mhm.
It falls under
Mhm.
the umbrella of love, but everybody's need is different.
And
And the
when you
awakening
embody love, you realize that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the awakening you're having with this is, it's helping me to awaken even more, hearing you speak on love. Your whole voice has changed, your whole cadence has changed. But it's beautiful. Like I'm falling in love with you talking about, because I'm over here just going, oh, I love her.
Yeah. I love love.
That's awesome.
and then,
That's huge.
oh,
Go ahead,
Go
Ashley.
ahead, Ashley. Sorry.
Brittany, I was gonna say something else because what you said made me think about that too. It was something that now looking back at it, I see the exact same thing with me. But I was also realizing that I used to put expectations on love.
Girl.
And so like you would put your own
Right.
expectations on other people, or how you expected them to love you, or what love was supposed to look like in your context, is not anything the same of, like, for example, what another friend that you have, what their context of love is.
Exactly.
And I realized that when you eliminate those expectations and just operate in your authenticity,
Mhm.
things flow so much easier.
So
Nothing
much
is
easier.
forced. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's simple. It's simple.
You know what that reminds me of? Sorry, guys, this is about to be a little personal, but that reminds me of that wedding couple that I sent you. How she expressed how she was so in love because through all the hurt and pain. And I was just telling my friend, I was like, you know how you found the one? I said, you know that you found the one when you want to give up your ancient ways for them. And you don't, and you want to be more ready than you are petty. You know, like
Mhm.
when you want to force yourself, not force yourself, but when you want to grow up, you
Right.
know that you have found people that are connecting with you because they are speaking not verbally, but to a higher you. And you naturally, because you have the respect or love or care or whatever feeling that you have for them, you
Mhm.
say, hey, I cannot be with this person or be in this person's world looking like trash. I need to pick myself up and dust myself off to be in this person's world. And it may not be forever, but it's for the
Right.
better.
Right. And I
Yeah.
think that also goes into Rhonda, what you were saying earlier about the concept of, what was it? It's not necessarily being able to give without being afraid that people are going to take things from you. I think for me, that was because, and I think in society in general, that may be the reason why a lot of people can't connect in the way that they need to connect, because everybody's afraid that if I share something with you, if I give you this knowledge, you're either going to one-up me, you're going to be better than me. It's a competition between you and I, when we're actually working together to accomplish the same things at a basic level. And by me sharing whatever I have, whatever gift, whatever happiness, knowledge, wisdom, whatever it is, it's always so interesting because you end up learning. Like for me, I realized I get so much more out of it than I was expecting, as opposed to me being reserved to share something because I'm afraid of it, what's the word? Taking away from what I already have, as opposed to
As
adding.
if it's not replenishable though.
Exactly. And it's like
Right.
something.
Why do people act like, why did I act that way? I also acted that way. No, maybe
It's a scarcity mindset. So if you listen to our culture and you listen to our songs and you look at what is readily available to read and to follow, it's a scarcity mindset, and it's cloaked in the illusion of, no, you take care of you, boo. And it makes you do all this internal, I got to hang on to everything because I got to take care of myself, when in reality we were made to give and to unite and to lift up and to help each other. And so when you step out of that, which we're doing on this call right now, you begin to see it from the other side. And this is why Sean can sit on these calls and give so much of himself for 408 episodes, is because the more you give, the more you get out of you, there's more room to receive more. And that's what you are feeling when you change the words. Is the power of your words. When you change the words and it's no longer scarcity words, and you say things like, they can borrow my love and courage and joy, I can get more as I give it away, and it's replenishable. Like Brittany just said, you have no scarcity mindset. And when you have no scarcity mindset, you realize there's 7 billion, how many billions of people on this planet. There's no reason to have a scarcity mindset. There's enough for everybody. And so then you can just, you can give and give. And that's what I've stepped into. And Brittany, that's what you stepped into. And Ashley, you're stepping into it right now, is the whole thought of, there's no longer this. There's no longer, I got to push back. I got to give people the hand. There's now just a welcoming of whomever, because you're not taking anything from me. I'm giving you borrowing my joy and my love and my strength and my courage and my wisdom. I'm going to give it to you because I'm going to receive from you, even if you don't think you're giving it to me. And I'm also going to receive from somebody else, because that's just how it works.
And I was just about to say that, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think I lost it, but I was just about to say that I don't have a number.
What I thought about was the fact that you were saying it's replenishable, but the interesting thing that I thought about now, none of this stuff that we have was ours to hold in the first place.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So as I was praying today, I realized, as we already knew, I was like, God, you love us a lot, because we be out here acting crazy. And you still love us. You give us, because I was asking one of my past relationships, I was asking him, I said, well, how many chances, or he asked me, well, how many chances am I supposed to give you? And I was like,
Mm.
until I get better. It's literally until I get better. If this is something, or if I am someone that you absolutely love with no conditions, and you actively see me trying, attempting, breaking down this wall that I've built through you because of our connection, it's limitless, right? And I was like, that is what love is. And God gives the sun shines on everybody, right? But we cannot, quote unquote, literally give back to the sun, but we do so by taking care of the earth, recycling, throwing away your trash. I don't know, just things like that. And that is how you reciprocate. So, and I talked about this before about how we have this transactional mindset. We feel in transactional love. We're not used to giving and receiving love until we get something first. Our first, and especially with men, which is actually a whole different call, but especially with men don't understand a lot of, okay, I don't want to turn this into that. So our first, the first love that we know and that we want to repay is the love from our parent, right? Our parent, our mom specifically gave us birth, and our mom it doesn't matter whoever our mom is or whatever the type of mom she was, she gave us birth, literally. And we feel as if we owe that debt to her and direct to her and give back to her. So it's very transactional because it's like she gave us all of this, so we need to give this in that back in that way. But we can simply give it back in that way by being a great human. That how we embody that essence and return things to other people, which goes back to what Sean said, how I said I will sail the 7 seas for him, although it's very much impossible for me. I'll probably die trying, but the possibility is limitless because there would be a combinations of things that I can do to give back to him in the way that he's giving back to me, but it doesn't have to be in the exact same way. So we look at things and it's just like, okay, I'm giving you time, you're not giving me time, so you don't love me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we invalidate it. We invalidate it because, like you were saying, Ashley, it doesn't look like we want it to look. So we invalidate it versus appreciating it.
Which is what I had to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. And God takes it all of it.
So I want to give one tip that's on my mind to all the single people, because you just hit on this a little bit. You're stepping into seeing how valuable you are when you're speaking like this. And when you find another person, let me give you my example. My husband, he sees me breaking down strongholds that have kept me from loving the way I could always love, but he loved me through it all. He loved me through when I couldn't see the strongholds. He loved me when I saw the strongholds. He loves me as I'm breaking strongholds, and he loves me even more as the strongholds are gone and they're not tripping me up anymore. So as a single person, when you find someone who can just love you how you are now, and you can take a moment to see that, and they'll love you while you're changing, that's someone to pay attention to. But if they can't love you while you're changing, it might quite possibly be someone you don't need to pay a lot of attention to. I hope I said that right. Sean might have to interpret that.
No, that's perfect.
So that's just kind of an indicator, because my husband wasn't perfect when we met. I was by far the least perfect. but he loved the imperfections. So that's a dating tip. Now then you transition it to friends or, you know, network marketing or people or relationships. Can you set on the flip side of that coin, and can you love people that can't see their imperfections, or
Mhm,
are beginning
mhm.
to see their imperfections, or that are conquering through strongholds and breaking some of those strongholds and removing those imperfections? Can you love them through it? Because if you can, you'll end up with a call like Sean Murphy for 408 episodes, with people having breakthroughs like us three women sitting here talking right now.
I love it. I feel like we are a coven, and I
A
love it.
coven? Are we
That's
witches?
a whole nother thing, girl.
Yeah, I know. That's how powerful I feel like we are.
Let me share something with you. There was a word that was used that threw triggers off in my mind. If this glass is filled with water, if this cup is filled with water, and I stick my finger in it, did I make a hole in it?
No,
Did I make space in it?
no.
I took space up with my finger. When you say replenishable, when I pull my finger out, is the space I displaced with my finger, is it replaced, or was it always there?
It's always there.
It was always there. So when you use this word about the love, is it replenishable? It is always there. And how much of everything is there of everything?
A lot.
So then why does anything have to be replaced? It's just called something else. It's called a distraction. It's called displacement. When we let it back in, there's an unending source, especially of an emotion. I hear the word, and I hear what I heard is we're okay as long as we work to be okay. Because replenish means something's gone, I got to go find it.
That's good.
Can my joy be replenished? It's replenishable. It's there. It's it was never gone. You just displaced it by sticking your finger in it, by sticking your thought in it, by giving them a title. Remember when we title things, we fraction the world?
That's good.
And when we fraction the world, we make it a concept, and concept is violence. We become violent to ourselves. Ashley, I can't wait to get a big old bear hug from you.
Yeah.
Because it'll be tender, it'll be strong, it'll be weak, it'll be filled with joy. It'll be just the most amazing moment, because I can feel it now. And when you give me a hug, and when I get a hug, you don't run out of hugs.
That's very true. I'm a hugger too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's no need to go back. Okay, I got to go back to my warehouse, and I got to go get another hug. Damn, that was a big one I gave Sean. The same thing holds true with anything in our life. We choose to have a limitless supply, an unlimited supply of anything we want, of any emotion we want, of joy, of happiness, of sadness, of fear. And what happens is they do feed off of each other. The challenge is when you start living off of the fear of joy and happiness, there's some stuff gonna go hungry. And that's the old story. So at a subconscious level, a discussion took place to where women who are very powerful, gaining in their covenness, gaining in all of their joyness, the word replenish came up. Yes, it's replenishable. Across time and space, you've been given the condition that you've got to work for whatever that was you want to replenish. The river flows forever. The river is unending. There is no beginning, there is no end. There just is. And when you step into that, you realize, why were we trying to replenish it? It's all right here.
Sean, I just had a kind of a thought after you said that. I think it was Gina who had mentioned something about being hesitant to pour into people because she felt like there wasn't anybody that was going to pour into her.
Mhm.
Me and what you just said thought about the fact that we already had the source that we needed to pour into ourselves, and we didn't need to go to anybody else to get filled up again.
How can we ever be empty?
We can't.
We're never empty, because even the doubt of listen, if I pour into you, there's nothing to pour into me. That's just doubt. Because then it gets filled with nothingness, and we get filled with nothingness. And then if I give away, that the story is I have nothingness. So you have nothingness now. You have to be filled with nothingness, that if you give it away, you wind up with nothingness.
Nothing. Right.
So you're already full up. Bruce Lee said, right? I can't teach you because your cup's already full. It's why we give away our 3 messages, by the way. I didn't say that this morning. Go ahead and send out your 3 messages. Why we do that. Listen, I know I'm a farm boy from Ohio, but there's some logic understanding the way the brain moves and operates. And if I give you away the stuff, and humanity is so very predictable. It's why I can say blah, 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 and we go to war. It's why you can read a book and go to war. It's why you can read the Bible and go to war, or choose not to. Say, look at the scars I got. I've already been to the battle. Let's go have some fun. Let's go to the party. Let's go to the after party. Life is an after party when you get there. Y'all are amazing. I love listening to you. Talk about joy. Talk about a dad being proud of his girls. I never had sisters. So watching you 3, and again, you inspiring the comments through the chats, mind's blown, this, that, and the other. It's the power of your language of communicating. It's the rawness of this open dialogue that allows others to fall in love with themselves again, because what they do is they go, oh my God, they're just like me.
One of those last statements you just made, Sean. We can never be empty. That's just doubt. That's huge. That's huge. That means you never are in lack.
Mm-mm.
And the scarcity mindset is gone.
Yeah, when you have lack, that's what you're full of. You're never out of anything.
Yeah.
But what you think about and thank about, you bring about, right?
Yeah.
So
good. So good. Y'all have lit my heart up. I woke up this morning just kind of, and Ralph sends me a message every morning, and he never knows how much that means to me. And then we get on this call and we have this kind of discussion, and nothing happened for I don't know, kind of a gloom, I guess. I don't even know what to describe. Nothing happened for that, but it was just kind of a melancholy feeling, just And then we have this call, and oh my gosh, y'all just light me up. I mean, how do you not hover above the earth after a call like this? And after grabbing a hold of some of these nuggets, this just squashes the enemy. Like, it cuts him off. He has no voice whatsoever. And it ends the chatterbox inside your head. And you just get to smile and love and have some fun. So good, Sean. Y'all, thank you so much for blessing me today. I love y'all.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know I love you. Hey, Michael, you got a question, brother?
Hey, Sean, how are you?
Outstanding, man.
All right, so I am a little lost, and I had a lot of questions that I just wrote down that I wanted to read off to just say out to the universe, and I hope that throughout the day I get all the answers I can. So what I wrote down today was, how do I wake up much earlier? How do I really stop sleeping in? And how can I set up my mornings to meditate? And then this is important. How can I stop feeling so trapped inside my head? How may I be extra grateful this morning? How can I actually get someone to say yes to our business? And how do I break out of my own cage today? How do I find Jesus today? How do I do less and become more? How do I break out of terrible habits, addictions, and time wasting activities? And how do I show love to my mom and dad today? And then how do I make time to read and the time to effectively study? So those were my questions today. If you got any answers, I'd love to hear some.
I don't have answers, but I will say this. How long do you want to be in pain?
I want to be out of pain now.
Then
I want to be out of pain in the next
I would
second.
ask better questions. Because every one of those questions keep you in pain.
Really?
Yep. So, and it's a very simple switch, because to answer those questions, where do you answer questions from? I'm going to ask everybody to pay a little bit of attention to this dialogue. The only place you can answer questions from in your mind is what? The future or the past?
Is it the past?
Mm-hmm. Right? Your mind is memory. It's the archive. So when you ask a question, it goes to the only place it has the answer based upon that, because you're asking how. How is an action? How is an action? How do I do this? So in order for you to how, it says, well, let's look in the past how well you've done that. And if you're asking the question, there's a chance you haven't done it well. So, but the mind goes up and pulls up every time you've not done it well. So do a secret code to success. Noah St. John. What's the first question?
How do I wake up much earlier?
So how do you make that a better question? Why do I wake up so early every morning?
Okay.
You're asking to fail. Why not ask to succeed? Why am I so good at waking up? Why am I so good at loving my parents? Why am I so good at finding Jesus in every breath I take? Why am I so good at, now ask the question, why am I so good at in front of everything that you asked?
All right, perfect. I'm doing that all day today.
No, that's called procrastination. Let's go do it.
Okay, so ready? Why am I so good at waking up so early in the morning? Why am I so good at not sleeping in? Why do I always set up my mornings to meditate and set it up for the most beautiful day ever? Why do I feel so free? Why do I not feel trapped?
Why am I? Not why do I? Do is the action again. Why am I is the feeling.
Why am I so free in my mind? Yes. Why am I attracting so many amazing people into my business? Why am I breaking out of my own cage today? Why am I finding Jesus today? Why am I doing so much less and becoming so much more? Why? I don't know how to do this one. This one says, how do I break out of terrible habits, addictions, and time-wasting activities?
So why am I so good at eliminating addictions and bad habits instantly? Why am I so good at removing them from my life?
All right, cool. Why am I so good at removing bad habits, addictions, and time-wasting activities out of my life? Why am I showing more love today to my mom and my dad?
Why am I so good? Why am I so good at showing more love to my mom and dad today?
Why am I so good at showing more love to my mom and my dad? Why am I so good at reading and setting time to read? And why am I so good at setting time to study for my classes? That feels good. That feels really good.
See, now you're no longer in pain.
Yeah, I was in a lot of pain this morning. It was out of pocket for me. Like, I'm usually not like that, but like,
Michael, do you know why? Because the communication you and I had yesterday evening, what did you do yesterday evening?
I made a video of my story.
Exactly where I was going.
So it trapped you. And instead of you telling your story, you jumped back into your story.
Oh my gosh, that was what it was.
Yeah.
So
It was
what did
all
you
over your face the whole time we've been talking. I've been watching you and I've been like, oh, Jesus, help Michael, because he is drugged down from making those videos yesterday. And all those videos are powerful of you telling your story. This is a great, great, great learning opportunity for you to go, okay, I can tell my story. I don't have to relive it. And it's
Okay,
stuck to
yeah,
you.
I was this morning, this whole call, unfortunately, I didn't get much out of it because I was literally trapped in that old story
Oh, you
and
did.
it didn't feel great.
Yep.
Oh, now that's another perfect example. Y'all, are you hearing this? So Ashley, Brittany, and myself were having this awakening. Sean's guiding us through it. All this great stuff is going on. It's all great. Michael can't hear it because he's trapped in his old story. How many people are you sitting across from that until you sit back and hear what they're not telling you? Who you are speaks louder than what you say. They ain't hearing a word you're saying because all they're doing is living in their old story. But as soon as Sean heard Michael, instead of Sean speaking, Sean was able to help Michael. And then we just saw the transformation of Michael coming out of doom and gloom, old story, into, oh man, I feel good. And Michael's back.
I am back. I am definitely back. It's so cool how you can just do like at the end of the day, you can just say it out loud and then in a second switch everything. Like my whole day's changed now.
And
The
who?
sun actually started shining through your window really bright just now. It really did. Like the window to
I
your
do
left
see it.
is super bright now instead of dark.
And
That's
here's what
funny.
I want to make sure you understand. Who made the change?
Say that one more time. I missed that.
Who made the change?
I did. I did. Like
This
at the end of the day, I
This is
definitely
the
did.
challenge with leaders in our profession. This is the challenge with leaders in any profession. This is the challenge with leaders in traditional business, non-traditional business, is that they guide you in such a way that you make them the leader. And the reason they've advanced to such ranks is because they've figured out how to manipulate you and how to motivate you in such a way that serves them. You having a bad day doesn't really affect me one damn bit. Now, your energy, I got to deal with your energy swirling around in the world, that negativity. So rather than me have to deal with that, I'd rather deal with you in joy, but give you back your power so that I don't have to be with you the other 23 hours today. Why don't we just give people back their own control, give people back their own joy, but it means we got to really listen to them. Because if we were in the mindset of wanting to be in control of the Michaels of the world, of the Ashleys of the world, of the Britneys of the world, we'd have said, well, you go figure out how to do that. And they can't, because their old memories created the question in the first place. But if we can sit there and listen to, not sure they really want to be there. Did you hear the question I asked them prior to us having a dialogue? Does anybody remember the question I asked them? Do you remember the question I asked you?
No.
How long do you want to be in pain?
Yeah, I only want to be in pain, like not even less than a second.
Cool. So now you were able to hear that you were able to hear the answers. And did you hear the questions he stumbled on? If you hear the questions he stumbled on, those are big blocks that you have somewhere in the subconscious. Because the other ones, you just ripped them right out. Boom, boom, boom. I'm having trouble with this one. Ah, okay. Thanks, subconscious, for giving me a clue.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
If you listen, right? Covey said, seek first to understand, then be understood. Some of us are going, listen, you don't understand me. Let me tell you what the hell I know, and you should shut up and listen. That's network marketing. But if you listen to people, you listen to their heart's going to tell you every time. It's going to sneak it out there. You just got to have the universal translator. And now I would encourage you to go spend time answering those questions with complete detail, as much as you can come up with. Why am I so good at loving my parents today? Because you know why? Because you can walk right out of that door behind you, and you can go up to your mom and you can hug her for 30 seconds. And you can hug your dad for 30 seconds. They'll be like, are you on something? What's going on here? But it ain't for them, it's for you, because whether they receive the love or not, can you love them without them receiving it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they say that's a tough one. I got to be recognized if I love them. This is most of us. I got to be recognized if I love my mate. I got to be recognized if I love this. They need to do something back for me. That's why we came up with the 4 love languages or 5 love languages. How do you pay me back? This is how I need to get paid back. What the hell is that about? What do you need to be paid back for anything? Just go give. And when you give, you got space for more. And you can get to give, and more, and give, and more. And you show up on your 406th, 7th, 8th episode and you go, I ain't stopping this. How you feeling now, brother?
I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good. I'm gonna take some time to like now meditate and like literally answer all these questions.
Yep. And be surprised as you go through them how you awaken to them. Oh wow. Oh, you know what I could do? Oh, and people will come into your mind. People you need to reach out and come into your mind, reach out to them.
Will do.
Cool. Love you, brother. Great questions.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you as well.
Billionaire somebody.
Vach. Yes. So, okay. So I'm back on. I haven't actually been on since Brittany's breakthrough call, actually. My sleeping schedule has been horrible. And then I came and got on this call this morning and you guys poured so much value into me. I've been up all night, so I went to sleep. But the point of me talking was that you guys were talking earlier and I actually forgot what exactly it was that you said that made me actually tap and want to ask like my question. But I've pretty much been like, I guess, struggling with something that's been going on like for a very long time, like with my mom. And I feel like right now, I'm kind of at this point where I'm looking for a different version of a solution. But long story short, you know, I've had a very difficult relationship with my mom, and she's very like toxic, and doesn't like, you know, want to work on herself or work on our relationship or anything. And we kind of have these times where, well, I have these times where I, you know, go back to the relationship and I want to fix things. And I'm like, you know, I really want to help and try to, you know, help better her or whatever, just for us to build a relationship. And then it spurs horribly left, because she kind of suffers from, you know, like PTSD and bipolar disorder and a couple of other things. But like, basically, it was brought to my attention the other day by my significant other that I always like, you know, every year we go through the same thing. Like I, you know, go back and I'm trying to fix things, and then, you know, she does something horribly wrong every time or horrible, and then I stop talking to her for however long a time, and that cycle just keeps going on. And I feel like now I'm kind of at the point where I'm not like wanting to go back and go fix things, but I'm kind of at a point where I guess I'm trying to find healing within myself from knowing, you know, all the things that have happened, you know, with her, and not the just go back and, you know, keep going back mentality, because every time I go back, I get the same result. So I had no idea if you would have any advice or help about that. But yeah, that was pretty much what I was bringing to the table.
So where do you live?
I live in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay. So in the fall when the trees are changing their colors, do you ever look at them?
Yes.
You ever enjoy watching them?
Yes.
In the summertime, did you ever sit under a tree that you got shade from?
Yes.
And in the fall, when the leaves are all gone, do you ever stand under the tree to try to stay out of the sprinkle?
Yes.
And there's no leaves there, and you're like going, well, why it worked in the summertime? Why doesn't it work now?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever, if in the fall it was a beautiful fall day and it was warmer than most days, and you kind of took your top off, you took off your jacket, and your arms were bare, and you were standing under that tree hoping for shade. There's not a single leaf on the tree. Would you be mad if you got sunburn?
No,
Why?
because I'm the one who went out without sunscreen.
Right. Went out without sunscreen, standing under a tree that could provide you no shade. Did you get mad at the tree?
No.
So if the tree's just doing what it's going to do in the summer, spring, fall, and winter, why don't you ever get mad at the tree?
I don't know, a little bit because of it's not the tree's fault, and a little bit because of I have to take responsibility for my own actions.
So there's your mom. Your mom is the tree.
Okay.
Every year you go back, she's going to do something wildly imaginative with her spirit. It's just the leaves are going to fall off. Why get mad if the leaves fall off? Why can't you go and I'm not saying to go do this, but is it not possible to go stand and watch the leaves fall off and not cry about it?
Mm-hmm.
And become the observer and say, this is what's always going to happen. Do you think if you and I, the last time we met, we had an argument, do you think, what are the chances are that the next time we show up, we're going to have an argument, you and I?
I don't know. I don't think there's very much chance.
There's going to be a lot of chance because of the vibration we left each other. And if we've never had a conversation between now and then during that time where we actually forgave each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you this. Can you forgive yourself for leaving in a mad state?
Yeah.
So if you learn to forgive yourself, then I would transfer that forgiveness to your mom. She's just doing what she's going to do. Because if I go back, if we were to sit here and go through a little session, was your mom ever 5 years old?
Yeah.
What do you think she did when she was 5 years old? What was her life when she was 5 years old? Was it joyful? Was it peaceful? Was she in trauma? Was she in challenge? Did she have a doll? Did she have a bike she rode? Did she
had a pet duck?
She had a pet duck. And did she love that?
Yeah.
Did she ever do anything harmful to that duck?
No.
It shows that your mother has the ability to have pure love for something other than her. So if you were to go back and visit that 5-year-old version of your mom right now, would you ever be mad?
No.
Well, then why are you mad now? Because there's an old story that showed up. There's a story that showed up that's not your mom. These fractions of the universe that we call PTSD and depression or bipolarism, that's somebody else gave her that title. And so therefore, once given the title, don't most people try to live up to king, queen, or joker or pauper?
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
I don't feel like I'm not angry with her. I feel like I'm more at a point where instead of
you're angry with you,
I don't even feel like I'm angry with me.
I
feel like I'm just in search to.
That's the story you're telling yourself. You have a story that when you go see your mom, you come home angry and frustrated, and you don't even want to go back. That's a story. Imagine if every time you went to visit the 5-year-old, you would never have seen any of these stories.
Mm-hmm.
So is it okay if you give up the story that who your mom has been titled? Is it okay if you just give it up? Doesn't matter what mom does or doesn't do, because you're drinking the poison hoping that she gets better, and you're the one that's getting more frustrated over time.
Yeah.
Because you just told me your story. I don't know your mom. Now, if I go to meet your mom, aren't I preconditioned to having these titles that somebody else gave her? Because you didn't give her.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, don't I reflect the version in society, the version in time and space that your mom has these issues, and don't I perpetuate that? I don't even know your mom, but don't I perpetuate that now that I have that vibration?
Mm-hmm.
But I love your mom. I know your mom is the 5-year-old with a duck. Did she give the duck a name?
No, I don't know. Well, she probably did, but I don't know the duck's name.
So maybe you call her today and ask her what the duck's name was, and that's all the conversation you have today. Mom, I was talking about you today, and I remember the duck, and I couldn't remember the duck's name. Did you? And she might call it Ducky. But now all of a sudden, I know your mom is as the caretaker of Ducky. What an amazing kid!
I feel like that would be nice, but I don't know. I haven't talked to her since August of last year.
You've talked to her every day because the story runs around in your head.
Okay, Sean, I see what you're doing there.
You keep coming up with stories in the real world. I work in the unreal world. I work in the spiritual world. You've communicated with her every day. Your DNA runs through her DNA runs through you. She made you. She's half of you, and every time you have a good thought or a funny thought, it affects her just the same.
Okay, so then I have I guess, so if you're saying like I can't be, but not to be, upset with the tree, i.e. her, like, so how would I just pray for strength to be able to deal with
So we'll use Michael's
those
question.
things?
Why am I so good at smiling when I think of my mom?
Oh, okay.
Why am I so good
the
at
narrative? Okay.
Why am I so good at when I talk to my partner, my significant other, that the stories always make us laugh?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I so good at never taking a moment of love away from my significant other, using old stories of my mother that challenge our relationship?
Oh, okay, Sean, coming with the heat.
Oh, by the way, could I ask you 3 quick questions?
Yes.
Do I have your permission?
Yeah.
Do I have your permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable?
Oh, yes, Sean.
Do I have your permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling?
Yes.
And like that, we're done. Love you.
Love you too, Sean.
But how do you feel right now?
I don't know.
That's good. That's good, because if you knew, it would be the old story.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel right now.
So I'm going to ask the choir of ladies who were sharing earlier, who seem to have some similar issues, and there's a common thread flowing through there. I'm going to ask each of them to speak into you right now from their perspective of what they heard, our dialogue, and to give you that female essence of, well, you just don't know, and I don't. So I can only share with you from my experience that I heard, and I'm going to ask some other brilliant folks to step in. So any of the ladies, Ashley, Brittany, Rhonda, y'all just, if there's anything you want to share with Vach.
So yeah, this sounds similar to what I have gone through. And as Sean was walking you through that, I was over here kind of doing oh, that's why our relationship is so much better. Because it was I see my mother now as not the fractionated title of mom. I see her as the human being, the little girl, her person, her essence. And when I see it like that, I don't go along with society's title of what a mom should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I go along with who she is and
what a
who
human can be.
Yeah. And it's allowed me to see compassion, because or act in compassion and love and joy, because there's a lot of times where I I would treat strangers kinder than I would my family because they're supposed to act a certain way. And I'm like, when I finally stepped back and realized, you know, my family's kind of a stranger to me also because I don't really know them. I just know the title that I've put on them. Why don't I stop and see who they are? And when you step back like Sean walked you through and you see that little girl with the duck, you can't help but kind of smile and go, that's pretty cool. And not many people have a mom that had a pet duck. Most of them are dogs and cats, you know? I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
but look at what you do when you giggle. It raises your energy and your vibration. And now you can have this place in your heart for your mom where you're like, I can love that. And I was walking around like you, kind of figuring out how do I love the unlovable when it was me being unlovable and it was me holding them at bay. And it's that old story, if I let them in, they're going to hurt me. Instead of walking in my strength of pure love, like Brittany showed us earlier, when you walk in your strength of pure love, none of that affects you. And so I would say one of the biggest things you could do is sit with the thought of, though you came through her to have life, that she's just a person doing her best. And she might not have been spoken into and enlightened the way you have. And then going back to whatever you do, since your DNA is her DNA, reflects into her. So the more you sit in love and the more you sit in joy and the more you sit in laughter and happiness, it all will travel to her because it's right. Sean's right. You have had a conversation with her every day. You just wrestled with a thought. So you inspired me to continue to see not only my mother, but my family in a place of love and gratitude and happiness. And now every time I think of my mom, for whatever reason, I'm going to think of, I wonder if she ever had a pet duck. Because that's just hilarious. And then I know Brittany has something to add here. Is she still here?
And I am. And when I was, hang on. So when I was hearing Vachi talk, I was about to type in the comments. I was like, I love watching myself. Like, I love hearing myself talk because you sound just like me. Like, she sounds exactly like me. And it's funny because my mom actually called me yesterday. We don't talk that often, but she called me yesterday. And when I saw her name pop up, I was like, no, what did this lady want? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, you know what? Let me not do that. It's a tough time going on right now in the world. And she could potentially, need help, support, whatever it may be. So I answered it, and she didn't want anything, of course, nothing productive. But I was just like, okay, and then I let it go. I didn't allow myself to be like, see, I knew it. I just was like, okay, whatever, and moved on. And I think it's very easy for us to hold other people's imperfections within ourselves and make it seem like it's our fault. And when we go around those people and it's triggered, it's easy to absorb that energy, and then we fight with it. But like they said already, like I already said, when you're solid in your foundation of who you are, your essence, you deflect that. And I try to view my mom all the time as a person, not just as she wants me. And this is so funny. Wow, this is so funny. So I view my mom as a person, as a human being. You are a person, right? She begs for me to just view her as mom. She doesn't like the fact that I can see her for all of who she is. She
And I
wants me
think
to create this facade.
that's the same thing, like on my end. Like I feel like, I've always been the same, like the one of her 3 kids that sees her, and she kind of
Mhm.
doesn't like that I see her. Like she's like,
Because she doesn't like who she is,
oh
which is
wow.
goes back
Okay.
to, everything that we've been talking about for the past thousands of months. Is when you don't like who you are, you mask yourself. And when people can see through your mask, you're like, how dare you see me for who I am? And it could be, how dare you see me for who I am and love me anyway? Or how dare you see who I am? Are you going to try to expose me? Are you going to call me out as a fraud? Are you going to take away everything that I've built because it's been fake, everything that I've created? Are you here to dismantle my world? What are you here for? Why are you here?
Yeah. And I think that's that kind of like tunes into like last night I had like this like 2-hour conversation with my dad, and like we talk a lot about like business or talk about like personal relationships and stuff like that. And I like finally opened up more to him about my mom, and he was just like, I'm just so disappointed, I'm so angry with her. And she's just like, my family doesn't, even though I guess she was given the title of being bipolar and having PTSD, my mom doesn't claim that. Like she won't say that that's, true, or like no one else will say it, so, he's like, she's narcissistic and she, doesn't care about anybody but herself, blah, blah, blah. And, I'm on the phone with him and I'm just like,
Dude,
I'm not even, yeah, I was like, I'm not even that bad. Like,
Chill
I
out.
was like, it's, I was like, I've kind of gotten to a point where, I understand that the things that had to happen to me for me to be who I am now, and the same thing for her. You can't be upset with her for something that she did 5 years ago, or however many years ago. He's like, well, I'm just disappointed that that's, how my child was being raised when I wasn't around or whatever, and I was just kind of like,
see, I don't like
walking
that, because
through
I think
his own emotions.
what it sounds like is that your mom, which is probably another reason why she's continuing to act in the way that she acts, because if she has everybody from all different sides attacking her, she's on the defense. So you're
Yeah.
gonna have to be that person, because you're in like, what? Am I talking to myself? This is crazy. You're gonna have to be that enlightened person to come in with your arms, with their palms
Open,
up.
open,
You know what I'm
open.
saying? Yeah, like with the white flag. And you're gonna have to show her, like, you know what? Hey, you have a friend in this. And that may, because I feel like that's my mom. My mom may just be looking for that one person who can love her through all of her difficulties. You know what I'm saying? And she also definitely does have trauma, for sure. Your mom as well, that she needs to deal with. But until she finds that safe space within someone, she's gonna be a dragon at all times, because people don't feel like safe spaces for her. So I'm coming in with my guns ablazing, you know? So if both of y'all come in with y'all guns drawn, it's war. But if you come in with your white flag, she got her guns drawn, but you have your white flag, she's gonna be like, oh, okay. Well, maybe I don't need
I
to.
think that's absolutely true, because
Yeah.
there's sometimes, well, a lot of the times, when I'm the one going back to her and wanting to, build a relationship and, try to work on it and everything, like she's down for it, at the time. And then, she'll have a moment and get, angry and spaz,
But you
you
have
know.
to understand, like, think about it like this, like, just as you're working through your story, you've had the opportunity to do so. she's also working through her. So even though, and look, think about what I just said. When you are unloved or whatever, anything that good or bad that's foreign is viewed as a threat until it's not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel that you necessarily have to force yourself into her world, because that also speaks to that part of you that's trying to be loved by someone who is incapable right now. Maybe not always, but right now. So sometimes it takes for absence and silence speaks great volume. And I used to be like, damn, Ma, you 50 some years old. Why I gotta be the bigger person? You supposed to be the person. You know what
Oh
I'm
my
saying? Like,
I got a quick question for y'all. As the observer of this. If this old story went away, what would you replace it with?
It would be
What
love.
would I want our future to be? Is that the kind of question?
Well, my question is that if the old story of the arguing and they're this and they're that and they're this and they're that and they're that and they're this and every time I do this they do that, if that all went away, what would you replace it with?
A new and better one filled with love.
It's one question for you, Lewis. I love you. I love you, Lewis.
I told you I'd be back, John.
But here's my question, because there's going to be one of two things. There's either the day you've had enough, and it's either the day you choose, the day you decide, or the day that it's handed to you. Because here's my question. Would any of you be having this conversation if your mother's left this planet yesterday? I talk about things that can't happen.
No.
So then why are you wasting time, your own time,
Right,
trying to fix them when you should just stand in front of the mirror? This is me getting real rough, because you can't afford to put this vibration out in the world for the things that you want out of life.
Mm-hmm.
They are who they are. They did what they did. Now, you do have to be the bigger person, Brittany. We do have to be the bigger person. Why do we have to be? Because we either have to or we get to. But if they were gone, if your mom's left this planet yesterday, maybe there'd be tears, maybe there wouldn't be tears.
you wouldn't have the option to do that.
But the story wouldn't be there anymore.
All right.
So you just got to ask yourself, do I choose to give my life over to a story that I have no control over? What did it say this morning? He's pretty good. He's got some words out there.
Some words.
The more intimately you experience me, the more convinced you become of my goodness. I am the living one who sees you and longs to participate in your life. I'm training you to find me in each moment. When you talk about these stories that you have no control over, when you fraction the world by labels and titles and all of this other, they're doing the best they can. They're just playing the villain in the movie that's called your life. The lesson will continue until the lesson is learned.
Yeah.
Listen, give them an Academy Award. Go to the dollar store, buy a little trophy and set it on your desk going, my God, they got the Academy Award, the Emmy, they got the Fuzzy, they got the Woozy, they got the Whippy. Make up awards. Because it's your life that's suffering.
It's basically, I think what Sean is trying to say is that you can't change people. You have to be able to assess yourself, shift yourself, and in this case, be the bigger person.
But Ashley, can't we change people?
Once you change yourself.
Once you change yourself, but it first starts with you.
So what did Gandhi say? Be the change you want to see in the world?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany said it best. You come out with your guns blazing. She comes out with your guns blazing. There's an inevitable there.
The same result.
So then that kind of still, okay.
Go ahead.
So then this is my last question. So would I be looking to, would I be looking to, like, do I need to pray for strength? Because I feel like I'm really I don't know, I'm really sensitive when it comes to my parents, like very sensitive when it comes to them. So do I need to pray for strength or?
No, because strength just allows you to deal with the fight more.
Then what should I be praying for to better
So that's what you pray for. You ask the Holy Spirit, what do I pray over this
Ah,
situation? Because he has
okay.
all the answers. And you ask him before you get those stuff all off in the way that he has to help you get rid of. You ask him, what do I pray over this situation? And help me to be able to hear when you give me that answer, and then help me to be able to pray that and be obedient to that.
My soul just shook. That was crazy. As you were talking, like my
Say it
soul
again.
was just
Say it
like,
again.
yes.
Say it again.
Well, that's because truth resonates very deep, but he has every answer we need. That's why Sean says everything you need's inside of you. Holy Spirit lives inside of you. You accept Jesus, your Lord and Savior. You have access to every bit of it. Ask him first before you get any human's advice. Ask him first, and then ask him to walk you through remaining obedient to what it is he tells you. And if you're having trouble hearing his voice, go back just like you would if you needed to hear Napoleon Hill's voice again. You go back and you read his book so you can hear his voice in your head again. Go back and read your scriptures to hear his voice. Research some scriptures on the topic you're looking for. Reach out to me if you'd like to. I'll be happy to help you look for scripture. But he's your first source. Ask him first, what do I pray over this situation? And help
Man,
me
I love
hear
y'all.
you. Well, we love you.
Y'all. Y'all are doing God's work, okay? I
Come
love
on,
it
girl.
here. Okay, thank you guys.
Yes.
So tell me your first name.
My real name is Melissa.
Melissa. It's pretty.
Lisa.
Thank you.
Lisa, I want you to hear this. You did this. You made this breakthrough happen. This didn't come from outside. This didn't come from any other place than from inside of your heart. We just happened to hear it loud enough to allow you to step into it. The safe space of the people that showed up here. I don't know if you know Brittany. I don't know if you know Ashley, but if you do, that source has always been there. If you didn't, that source is now always there. Because you've been doing this on your own, and it's no longer necessary to do this on your own.
No, thanks, guys. Shucks. And a little key there, you were definitely also talking through me to my mom, because I said my name is Melissa and you said Lisa, and that's actually my mom's name.
Listen, we're all connected, girl. This 54-year-old white guy is just as connected to you.
So, Melissa, I don't know if you've heard me talk about the day that I woke up sick, but I went to bed perfectly healthy. I woke up the next morning and I had like all this ear stuff and throat stuff. And I'm like, what the heck jumped on me at night? How in the world? And so I always start my morning before I even roll out of bed, before I open my eyes, with a prayer of thankfulness for whatever. Thank you for my warm blanket, whatever. And I rolled over and I was like, what in the world? And Brianna, I'm praying for you. And I thought, what in the world is going on? And I was asking the Holy Spirit, why am I sick? And I heard, pray for your mom. And I'm like, no, man, I need the help. You're not hearing me. And he said, pray for your mom. I'm like, ugh. And I started praying for my mother. God, I don't know what's going on with mom. Be with her. Thank you for her, going through the prayers, praying. And I started feeling better, got up, got around, everything went away, got on about my day. And about 8 o'clock that evening, I get a phone call from my mom just to say hi. And I'm talking to her. And I said, Mom, how are you? How's your day? She's 74. And she was like, I'm good. She goes, I woke up this morning sick as a dog. I had all this ear stuff and throat stuff. And I thought, oh my goodness. And I said, well, how you feeling? She goes, well, shortly after I got up and got going, it was fine. So
Oh,
I
wow.
tell you, yeah, I tell you that to say this. As you pray over yourself, you're changing your mother's DNA. So every time you speak poorly over your mother, you change your DNA. Words are powerful. There's a spiritual realm. This is a whole nother conversation right quick. There's a spiritual world around us all the time that we are in. We're not of yet, but we're in. And it's hearing these words. And because of quantum entanglement, your mom, y'all have the same DNA. Everything you speak and say over yourself changes her DNA. Everything you speak and say over her changes your DNA. When I began to pray prayers over my mother of what the world would say, that's what a mom should pray over their daughter. Well, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to pray it over my own mama because she's somebody else's daughter. And as I began to pray that over my mother, my DNA changed. My heart softened because her heart was softening. My obedience lined up with God's scripture because her obedience lined up with God's scripture. But anytime I speak something negatively over myself, I'm not good at blah, blah, blah. What do you think my mom calls and talks to me about?
Same thing.
Exactly. But on the same token, that's how much power and authority we have in this natural realm. And that is why in Proverbs it says life and death are in the power of the tongue. And he warns us throughout the Bible, no human can bridle their own tongue. You got to have God helping you with that, because an unbridled tongue can destroy a city. So,
oh my gosh, Rhonda, I literally just talked to my dad about all of this last night when he kept saying that there was no way she was going to change. And I was like, do you know the power of God? Like, you are tripping. Like, I was like, yes. He was like, yeah, but your mom. I said, no, but God, though.
So what you need to talk to your dad is, you carry your mom's DNA and your dad's DNA. And when your dad comes at you like that, you can always go, hey, Dad, every time you say that about me. Why do you say that, baby girl? Because I have your DNA. And when you speak over my mother like that, I have her DNA, and it changes me. And what you say over yourself changes me. I need y'all to line up with the word of God and quit speaking all this trash. So then what you do is you begin to pray prayers of obedience over your mom and over your dad, and that their words will line up with his words. It's beautiful what can happen here.
This is happening right now.
This is so amazing. Oh my gosh.
This is supposed to happen on my Bible study page, not on Sean's phone call.
I need the
I'm
Bible
so
study
shocked
page
right now.
too. Like, what is the Bible study page?
It's a Facebook page. You can send me a friend request. I'll throw you in it.
Okay, well,
say it out loud. Say it out
loud. What is it called? B&B Bible Study? Is that what it is, Sean?
Yep, B&B Bible Study.
B&B Bible Study. It might not even be searchable. You might have to send me a friend request and I can put you in it. I don't know if it's private or not.
Brittany's still on here.
Does this say B&B Bible Study on
Yes,
fire?
I am.
On fire, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh well, I just requested it.
Good.
Okay, I'll go in and approve it.
Get in there, because even I's in there, and that's scary. So I have these things from Brennan Bouchard, right? And they've been sitting here on my desk, and I just picked them up, and I said, why am I being drawn to this as I'm listening to this? And so I pick up the first one. We must mature and realize that freeing our mind from our what?
Ancient
hurts.
Oh.
You said the word ancient. I'm like, I've never heard that before. And I picked this up, and here it is on this card. We must free our mind, that freeing our mind from ancient hurts and opening once more to love shall give us access to divine strength.
This is beautiful.
What you doing? Sean, this is what's called when you have universal awareness, and all of a sudden people go, how is this army marching through and absolutely not even being affected by fear and doubt? Because there is an armor of love and faith and courage, and we finally decided what the heck the common enemy was, and it wasn't inside, and it's not over there, and it's not over there. It's this absolute essence of fear and doubt, and we all walk together, arm in arm. We all decide to find each other and work with each other, because there ain't no way we'd ever come across each other. But yet we find each other in this space, in this time, in this unity, in the strength of women. Please, ladies, I need you. The world needs you. We are going to be saved by the untapped resources inside of every female voice on this planet. It's time for y'all to step up, drop the old stories of I ain't good enough, and realize that together there ain't no competition. There's only a joy of being able to share these moments like this and awaken each other, because I got to tell you, I'm good at carrying y'all's purses. I'm good at shining shoes. I'm good at doing whatever y'all need me to do. We just need to step out y'all's way.
Come on now. That's powerful.
So Melissa,
Do y'all realize the prophetic word he just spoke over every one of us? Realize the spoken word is prophetic, and you're either speaking life or you're speaking death. And he just spoke life over us, a very abundant life. And in the New Testament, Christ said he came to give us life and life more abundantly. And Sean just spoke that over all of us. Your subconscious may or may not have picked up on that. So I want to bring it to your conscious mind so you can store it away and realize prophetic, life-giving words have just been released over you and into your mind and into the universe for you. You have that same power in your life to speak those prophetic, life-giving words over every situation, over every mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, child, whatever. You speak it over them, and they will rise to that, and they will step into that the more you speak it over them and pray it over them. And remember, Sean's words that he just spoke, we pray the same way we speak. And the words that you speak out, the prayers that you pray to God, that you lift up to God, there's no time-space continuum with those. Those are infinite. My grandparents are dead. Their prayers are still being answered in my life. How? Because prayers are infinite. God's infinite. There's no time-space continuum. So he just released prophetic, life-giving words over you that will not only affect you, and this is how he's affecting 600 generations, not only affect you, but it will affect you and your bloodline. Hear this. This goes far beyond what his call was designed for. This goes deep into your spirit and your soul. Just gonna let y'all sit with that one for a minute. There you go, Sean. That just happened on your call.
It just happened on my call.
Oh,
Ooh, Mel to be so proud.
I'm so happy I jumped on this call today.
Right?
Brother.
yeah.
And this is what happens. So when you have that little urge inside of you, that little nudge inside of you that says, and then you go, I'd follow the little nudge. That's the universe trying to get you to step into your glory, into your own freedom. Gina, you got your hand up, my love.
Hi. Okay. I wanted to thank Brittany for sharing that post, because yesterday
I kind of felt myself, slipping into like a little bit of misery because I was thinking about like the old story of past relationships I've had and situationships I've dealt with. And I found myself, I was like, okay, let me just sit for a second. And I just sat in stillness. And then your voice popped into my head, Sean, saying, what are you going to choose right now, misery or joy? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to choose joy. But I'm going to allow myself to feel the feelings that I'm feeling. And then, okay, now we can switch over to joy. So I can give myself a chance to release whatever feelings I'm feeling. But Brittany bringing that post up just to remind me, like, it's the old story that I'm telling myself over and over again as to why I keep dealing with the same cycles over and over again with men in my life and like trash relationships, is because of what I'm telling myself. And ultimately what I'm putting out is what I'm attracting. So if I'm telling myself that men are no good and love, what is that? I don't want it. I'm wondering why I keep receiving that back. And then that's the fact as well that I was struggling with my self-worth and not loving myself, and in me healing myself and working towards that. It's like, okay, now I can be open to receive the love that I give and then the love that I want to receive. So that happened while I was on the call.
Love it. Sit in that, enjoy that. Say, why am I so good at having these revelations? Why am I so good at expressing myself in new ways every day? Why am I so good at loving and falling back in love with myself every day? Why am I so good at letting go the old stories that allow these stories that have resided inside of me to awaken?
Yeah, and now my leg is doing that little twitching thing again.
That's called vibrate, right? When Melissa was saying that she just felt her soul shake. That's what you're feeling right now.
It's like jolting, like it's doing like this.
It could be that we've been sitting for 2.5 hours, but I doubt that. Hey, Don, you got a question?
Yeah, I do actually, but I just wanted to say I want to thank everybody here on this call for just like spewing out like their experience and stuff like that, because a lot of it has helped me. And what Melissa was saying with like how like the connections and how like the mom and dad relate and stuff like that, I actually went through that, and it popped a question in my head, but I didn't really know how to go about it. And it's crazy to think about like how like it ended up where we started talking about like the Bible and stuff like that. And something I really wanted to get into was what Rhonda was saying, because I don't necessarily don't believe in God, but I believe in like positive energy. Like when things are down, and at the end of the day, like if let's say I'm dead broke and I need to do something, and when I'm praying, I'm like mentally like hyping myself up to say I need to change. Like personally, as a person, I need to change something physically in order for me to change like spiritually. And I don't really know how to go about it because I've never really gone to church or anything like that. I've never really had anybody like explain scriptures to me or how that came about, but I definitely want to know like more about it, because like I'm not so much lost, but I just believe in the positive energy, and I just want to know like and get a touch on like what more of that is.
I would be happy to visit with you and talk with you. You have a pen and paper ready?
Let me go grab one right quick.
Okay. And y'all are welcome. Anybody else is welcome to put my number down. Text me, let me know who's calling.
She don't even answer the phone, y'all.
Yeah, I can't. That's what I was about to say. Brittany has tried me yesterday and I couldn't even get back to her. I was swamped, but I was texting you, letting you know. I'm like, So
I'm
it
gonna
does.
text you.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. It does get a little crazy around here because I homeschool whether we're on quarantine or not. So life gets a little wild. But yes, I will at least text you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So my number is 903.
Okay.
714 08 0828 0828.
Perfect. All right,
Yeah,
I got it.
you,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you can. I'm more than happy to visit with you, and we can kind of talk through some things, and maybe I can give you some clarity.
Awesome. Yeah, because like when we were going on this call and Brittany was going through her breakthrough and stuff like that, like it really opened up my eyes to like I need to experience something like that as well, because I've already done it before and something's holding me back. So I need to do it again. I know that there is something that I'm lacking of, that I need to break through it. And that's why I'm not the current person who I am today. And I feel like one of the biggest things is like kind of unraveling the label of that positive energy, of like that change that I subconsciously have that focus me back on my path on towards goals or drive or whatever it is. And I definitely need that as a person. So like I definitely have a better understanding with it, so I can like maybe one day preach it, you know?
Come on now. Yeah, that's good. And there's a few things that I want you to go back and listen to what you just said after Sean puts the YouTube link back up. You use the word label a lot and title.
Right.
And Sean said it earlier, when we give things titles and labels, we fractionate the world, because we've just given them one little gap right there, instead of being able to see it differently. So I want you to kind of hear that thought process inside your head. And we can talk. I love moments like this that we can talk. I can talk one-on-one, because I like to make it a little personal and not do it necessarily on a big call like this, because sometimes it gets uncomfortable, and that can be a little personal. But I would challenge you, before you call me, to just say a prayer. And it might be a prayer of questioning. God, if I need to see something differently, if there is a God, if there is Jesus, if there is this, will you show up for me and show me what that looks like, and what it feels like, what it sounds like, and then communicate with me, and we'll see how that goes. That'll be a curious start.
Yeah, I've actually tried that like a really long time ago. Like I've had that experience where like things got really bad, and I got to a point where like I literally sat in front of my bed and I did the whole thing. Like I sat on my knees, I prayed, and I was like, I don't really know how this works, but I'm just gonna try to make it work, because I'm running out of options here. And I was just to be like talking to myself and legit having that, and I don't remember what it was or what exactly happened, but things just started happening in place, and things just started happening in motion, to where it kind of just broke through. And I was like, I don't know what it did. I don't even want to get into it, but I'm just too confused on it. I'm just going to keep going about my day, you know?
Well, one of the things you said this word at least twice. You said trying.
Right.
There's no trying. There's either doing or not doing.
Right.
So you did, and then you got scared of what happened, because it was new, and your brain's going, I don't know what to do with this. Let's go back to the old story.
Right, exactly.
So there's a few things we can shift, because you're eager and your heart's ready. I can feel it, that you can step into this. And you just, a lot of times we just need a buddy to do it with, and we'll be like, all right, we're good. Because it can be scary.
Exactly. Like I feel like the reason why like I raised my hand, because I was definitely like hesitant to click the raise hand button, because like I didn't know how to go about it, and like I didn't know how to like express myself. And then when you guys were talking about how it's you guys are, I don't know how to put it into words, but you guys were talking about like the tongue is everything, and
life and death are in the power of the tongue.
Yeah, and like I know that like words are powerful, and I know that subconsciously, but consciously I don't know it. Like I don't know how to like, because I don't hear what I'm saying when I'm speaking, so to speak.
Yeah, that's the old story trying to drown out the new coming in. And so this is what you just helped me with. All morning, I've told you I've had these 3 notebooks laying around of past discussions from Sean, and this is dated the January 1st of this year. And God kept going, no, don't turn the page. Don't turn the page. And I'm like, yeah, but you keep giving me stuff. He's like, don't turn the page. And so I've just been sitting with it right here. And as soon as you started talking, I heard, grab that notepad. And I'm like, what? And here's what I landed on earlier that I couldn't stop hearing. And this is for you.
Okay.
Ask enough questions to get rid of the distraction. And you're doing that now. So be prepared for the distraction to be removed. Because as you ask enough questions, as you clicked that little hand, I don't know if I want to click this hand. I don't know if I want to click this hand. You clicked that hand. That's not trying to ask questions. That's I'm asking a question. Click. Oh my gosh. Ask enough questions to get rid of the distraction. So
Yeah.
I wrote that on the 1st of January 9th for you and I to have a conversation on March the 31st.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you taught me that obedience is very powerful, and that as I remain in obedience, I will have what I need to give to someone when they need it, when I'm prompted. So thank you
awesome.
for that, for me. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. You're helping me. Guys,
We're gonna all help each other.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, like, again, Sean, I wanted to talk to you personally. Like, I just want to say thank you. Like, it comes a point in time where like I do get ahead of myself, and like I do constantly like distract myself with other things, and it causes me not to wake up for these calls. But whenever I do get on these calls, I'm extremely grateful because it got me out of bed just now. You know, I don't know when I was going to get out of bed, but I'm out of bed right now and I'm sitting at my desk and I'm ready to get to work. You know what I mean? So like, I'm forever grateful for that.
And remember, you did it. I'm just one source you tapped into. So thanks for showing up. And the funny thing is that when you get on, they're good calls, and then you decide to not get on. I choose to get on more often.
Yeah, like I want to know more about like, because like I know that there's like, I heard that there's like private groups and stuff like that, or usually you won't even be on the call. It's just people here just like expressing like their stories and such. So I definitely want to get more in tap with it.
Well, cool. Glad to have you, brother. Appreciate you showing up.
Appreciate it, my man.
Brittany.
Okay, I was on Twitter and I read something I want to share. I don't know if y'all want to close it out or what this is gonna ignite, but so this girl, she says, I channeled a message, it's a little lengthy. I channeled a message about Babel. It's short, but I think it's helpful. The Tower of Babel was constructed by a group of people who wanted the top of it to reach the heavens. Before it could be finished, God interrupted the building process by confusing the language of the workers. The workers now spoke separate languages and could no longer understand each other. They could not communicate and could not complete the tower. This is an analogy for what happens when God doesn't want a certain person or experience in your life any longer. He will give you and this other person different languages to the point where you no longer see eye to eye. Have you ever dated someone for a long time and you know it's time to leave because suddenly you can't see eye to eye on anything, like you butt heads over every little thing? Or maybe it's not just the person, maybe it's the job that you just aren't vibing with anymore. Every day you dread going there, you don't see eye to eye with your boss, the energy is just off. You're not speaking the same language. This is God's way of encouraging you to leave that situation. The fact that Babel was a tower that was meant to reach heaven is important here. Metaphorically, we seek to build this tower to heaven with a specific person, place, or thing, trying to build a future with them, hoping for marriage, kids, and etc. But often it's not the person we were meant to build with. That tower that takes years to build will ultimately come crashing down. So God saves you the time, energy, and heartache by interrupting it early. And again, this doesn't have to be a person. It can also be a career, experience, or etc. It would take years to build, but would be unfulfilling in the end, and may be keeping you from your true path. And I thought that was interesting that I was reading that at that time, and then how I was just talking about blockages and how Sean always says like choose joy or misery, because and how we hold on to things that we know isn't serving us just because we put in as far as our old story, because we've always been this way. But then within ourselves, we can't, we have different, our heads and our hearts start speaking different languages within ourselves. And then, so if we just want to internalize everything, it's speaking different language, the head and the heart, and they can't see eye to eye. And it's because what it is that you're building isn't going to fulfill you in the long run. Wow.
So let me add to that also. During the construction of the Tower of Babel, they were idolizing the tower,
right,
instead of the God that they serve. So their shift became idolizing the blessings instead of the blesser. So oftentimes,
this reminds me of something.
Go ahead.
Wait, I'm sorry, but that just, I don't know if it was on this call. I think it was Nano that said it. And it was like, sometimes we're so grateful for what we just got. We're grateful for the thing, but we need to say thank you to the source of where it came from to appreciate the blessing even more.
Yes, I actually shared with Nano an old Chinese proverb. And I think I've shared it on here before, but this is what I told Nano. I said, listen, there's an old Chinese proverb, and this man is walking into a sunset. And when you walk into a sunset, your shadow is behind you. It casts a shadow behind you. And in this proverb, we're going to look at God as the sun. And as we keep our eyes on God, our shadow, we're going to look at as our blessings. Our blessings follow us. Our shadow follows us. But when we turn and we look at our blessings and we try to catch our blessings, you can never catch your shadows. And we take our eyes off of God. So the question to ask yourself is, are you looking at your blessings? Are you looking at God? Because as you look at the sun, and it's the life that gives life to the earth, gives life to you. You need all these things from the sun. As you look at God, your blessings will follow. So it's the same thing that you were saying. And it's the same thing that when you started talking about the Tower of Babel, that God was telling me, is when we idolize the wrong thing, when we want the blessings more than the blesser, when we want the stuff more than who gives us the stuff is sure to leave quickly. Just like the Tower of Babel, as they idolized the tower, and as they idolized, the strengths that they had, their blessings, God was like, you're not looking at the right thing. If you look at me continually, you'll have blessings all the days of your life. But if you look at your blessings, all you'll be able to receive are only the blessings you've already received, and you'll never be able to receive more. Does that make sense how I said that?
Boom, mic drop.
Yeah.
That was a good article, Brittany. I wish you would send that to me.
Yeah, it's she tweeted it. I can send you the tweet link.
Yeah, you can. I'm on Twitter. I'm just not very often on Twitter, but on Twitter, I'm Super Mabel Mom, because that's what my daughter used to call herself. But you can just send me the link and I can get on and look at it.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. That was good.
No problem. Thank you.
Go, folks. Another little 3-hour conversation. Thanks for allowing your brain space to be taken up in this energy realm. Thanks for helping me get better. Thanks for being aware of each other and becoming aware of each other. There's Jameson in the back. Y'all deserve this.
Yeah, we do.
And as a buddy of mine used to say, congratulations, where you're at, it's your fault. So right where you're at right now, good, happy, sad. It's all our own faults.
Amen.
Amen.
So
Mhm.
congratulations. I'm so excited about tomorrow and the conversations that we will ensue and engage with and share with each other. And I'm just glad y'all are listening with a new ear to yourselves. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of the Daily Misfits.
Yeah.
Your head misfit. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all send some love to each other.
I love y'all.
Yeah, I love y'all.
you, my Misfit family.
Love y'all.
Everyone have a blessed day.
Let's
Love
Productive day.
Thank you all.
Love you all.
Every one of y'all.
Love you guys. Have an amazing day.
Love
Don't
y'all.
let them
y'all.
negative
Bye.
thoughts ruin your
Love you.
beautiful
Bye.
day.
Bye. Have a great day. Bye. Bye, Felicia.
Bye.
See y'all.